I was making and posting between 10 and 15 memes a day.
Per day, like original memes.
Psychotic, yeah. You cannot outperform consistency.
Who's the best meme lord of them all right now? But I would put Elon. He's pretty high up there. I don't think he's making the memes.
Yeah.
Right? But like...
He's an idiot.
Oh, you think he's an idiot?
They start asking me questions about memes, and Mark Zuckerberg goes, Tank, what do we need to do to get the memes, keep coming? And I go, as long as the world keeps turning, the memes will keep churning, brother. I love meeting people who have never heard of Tank Sinatra, Tank's Good News, influencers in the wild. It's like, okay, I'm not done yet. I haven't hit the end.
All right, guys, bang, bang. I'm very excited to have this conversation. We've talked nothing about business. You've got one of the most popular Instagram pages in the world, and you're just a dude.
I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, bang, bang. Like, you're just fucking chilling in life. All right. How many Instagram pages do you have, and how many TikTok pages do you have?
I have 4 Instagram pages. One of them is my personal page, which doesn't really do much. It's Meme Daddy. Then I got Tank Sinatra, Tank's Good News, and Influencers in the Wild, which is the newest one.
Okay. So
then TikTok, Tank Sinatra. TikTok, Influencers in the Wild just got banned recently. Who knows, dude? I don't know.
Wait, Influencers in the Wild got banned on TikTok?
Yeah, it's a different society over there. Younger, more annoyed or offended, and people interpret things worse over there. Instagram's still fun. It's like, hey, we're not
memes.
Yeah, we're not like out to get anybody. We're just having fun. Look at this person, doing this silly thing in public. TikTok was like the worst thing that happened on TikTok was, or the funniest thing that happened on TikTok was I posted a video of some girl on the beach in a bikini dancing with a ring light as her tripod. She's on the beach, mind you, with a ring light. And
Is that normal?
No, of course it's, bro, my followers now at this point are so bloodthirsty. If you saw anything out in the wild of somebody shooting content, you'd be like, that's bizarre. Now it's like, if the girl's not twerking on a little person's face with fireworks going off, they're like, this is boring,
So the ring light on the beach qualified for good content.
Yes, and the girl's in a bikini and she's not a great dancer. It's just like weird, And I wrote, if only there was a natural, significant source of light somewhere, right? That was the joke. It's obviously a joke. You're laughing, right? And people were like, oh, she's using it as a tripod. How did you? I'm like, yeah, where would she plug it in, first of all, idiot? Second of all, I know. So then this guy made a video making fun of me, saying that, why are we doing this? Everyone looks silly when they're filming content and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, thanks for explaining the page. That's the whole point of the page. We're just having fun here. And then—
He made like a YouTube video over it?
No, he made a TikTok video, which got like a ton of views. And then the girl in the video, the girl that was actually dancing, commented on that video, and it got like, tons of likes. It got fed right to the top. So I felt bad. Obviously, I don't like, people have asked me to take stuff down maybe 3 or 4 times in the 2 years I've been doing it, and I'll take it down every single time. I don't care. I'm not out to embarrass somebody. I'm just like, look at how silly we are as a species. So the girl's content got top rated. I clicked on her. She was like furious. Yes, I can't believe this. They're making fun of me. I feel so ashamed and embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. Go follow my OnlyFans, whatever. Literally.
No way.
Kind of, yeah. It was like, I hate this guy. I can't believe he would do this, but also like, check out my page.
Yeah, like here's my SoundCloud.
Exactly. Yeah. And I clicked on her TikTok, clicked on the Instagram, which was linked to it, clicked to write her a message on Instagram, and I saw that she had a message. There was a message already there asking me to tag her in the original Instagram video. So she was like playing both sides.
Hold on, time.
Yeah. Whatever you're thinking is what happened.
Yeah, this is the bullshit on the internet, right? Yeah. So you posted something on Instagram and TikTok of a woman on the beach with a ring light dancing. She then on TikTok is yelling and screaming and be like, I'm so outraged. This is bullshit. They're making fun of me. I can't believe these people. They're horrible human beings and like they should go to jail and rot away forever.
So far, so good.
But on Instagram was like, yo, by the way, can you like toss me a tag so I get some followers?
Yeah. And she would have done the same thing on TikTok if the video that I posted had gotten bigger than the other video. And it's fine, dude. Everyone wants attention. I get it. Yeah. It's not, this is not like something outlandish that people are trying to get attention on the internet. But if your comment had been on the TikTok video like, oh my God, I know, isn't this so silly, so funny? She probably would have gotten, I'm the person in the video, isn't this so silly? We're so silly as a species. She probably would have gotten twice the amount of likes and double the amount of followers, because nobody wants to follow somebody who's pissed off. Mm-hmm. Nobody sympathy follows anybody. Your feed is too precious for you to go, I'm going to throw this person a bone. I'm going to follow them because they seem upset. You're not fun. You're not having any fun. You look like a dick, kind of, you know? You can see people's following stop growing when at a certain point you reach critical mass, let's say, and then out of every day that you post, a certain number of people are going to be pissed off.
Yep.
Not at you, just like in general. You got 3 million people on a page. 1% is 30,000. So that's a lot of people to be pissed off at you, you think? And you can see people's momentum get slowed down when they start taking it the wrong way. They start taking it personally and whatever. So I've always tried to, for the most part, have fun. And if I do clap back at somebody, it's because I think I can say something funnier than what they said and I want to like roast them a little bit. But I don't even know who that person is. I'm not out to get them either.
You've been doing the internet game for like 20 years now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Is anything on the internet real? Or is it all just—
Everything's real.
Is it all real or is none of it real?
Depends on how you define everything or nothing.
All right. Well, if I think of the woman who is yelling and screaming on TikTok, but also asking you for a tag on Instagram, like to me, that's like not real.
They're probably both real to some extent because humans are dynamic and there's different parts of their personality. She probably, when the guy framed it in such a way that it was like, this person is being exploited and taken advantage of, yeah, there may have been a part of her that was like, yeah, I do feel exploited and taken advantage of. Whereas on the other hand, before that happened, she was probably just like, hey, I'm in the video. Can you tag me? So they're both real. But I don't know. People are my whole fascination with the internet started actually when I got sober in 2002. MySpace had like just come out. So besides the gym, meetings, burning CDs over and over again to try and get the perfect mix of music on a piece of plastic, which I spent so many hours doing.
What was your labeling technique on the CDs, or were you just like a fuck it? I'll put in 10 of them until I figure out which one I'm looking for.
I like to be surprised, yeah. Because
Okay.
it was all pretty much the same music. It was just different orders and whatever.
So you're a psychopath. Okay.
I'm a crazy person, yeah.
Did you have the binder full of CDs?
I had like 6 of them, yeah.
And did you ever like get in other friends' cars and you're like, we should take your car. You've got the binder. Like you've got the fucking hot binder.
Yeah, I don't play that whole let me get the aux shit. Like, you're not getting, I don't, like, if somebody sends me a song, it already loses 80% of its points out of 100. I got to find it on my own. I think most people are like that. If I find it, it's better than if you send it to me.
It's your idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It was your idea. Perfect. All right. So you're on MySpace. What the hell are you doing on MySpace? And what are you doing meetings 20 years ago?
Meetings, sobriety.
Like you're going, you're going to like AA meetings.
I don't, you're not supposed to say it publicly, but.
You're not?
If I was to confirm.
Why can't you, if somebody did go to AA, why can't they talk about it publicly?
There's a tradition that states that you're not supposed to be a representative of that fellowship at the level of press, radio, and film. So like, I'll talk around it as much as I like a pro, but for some reason I just don't like saying that. Not because I'm embarrassed or anything like that, just because there's 2 sides to it. One is like Lindsey Lohan comes out and says, I'm going to AA meetings. The next day she gets in a car wreck and they find cocaine blown up all over her car. It's like if someone needs the help and they see that article, they're like, maybe AA doesn't work. But
yeah, did that happen?
Lindsey Lohan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I met her one time.
Famously was like, I'm going to AA now. That's like a very common thing. People go, I'm going to AA. And it's like, well, you probably should just chill for a little bit because you're a maniac and see how it plays out. But
she hit on me one time.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is a great story.
You're a good-looking guy, so of course you would hit on you.
A friend of mine got married.
She was probably hammered drunk
in Iceland
on cocaine.
It was at a wedding. and she was at the bar, and I was with my now wife, who was like, oh my God, like that's Lindsey Lohan. Right? And I was like, okay. Like, yeah. I think I've seen her in a movie before or something.
Yeah.
And I could tell she like wanted a picture, but like, it's kind of weird. Like, do you go up to somebody at the wedding? Because it's not like in a public place where they're like actually a celebrity or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'm tired of like, kind of listening to this, whatever. So I just was like, hey, could you do me a favor and take a picture with my, at the time, girlfriend?
Yeah.
It'll save me like a lot of time and like basically. And she looked at me, she goes, just tell her no, you're cute, you'll be fine. Or like something like that. And I was just like, and I turned around and of course, like my girlfriend was standing right there.
Heard it?
Of course.
Oh boy.
And so I was like, 2 things. One, like damage control.
Yeah.
And thankfully my wife is a pro and was just like, I don't give a shit. Like, let's leave.
Yeah.
And I then like looked at Lindsey and I was like, oh, she's like done this before. Like,
Yeah.
that was like a pro, I understand the social situation, and like I'm just gonna like throw a grenade in the room and like go back to the bar. Like I literally was like, that is somebody who has done that like multiple times in their life. Like
that's a professional conversation killer right there.
I was like, man, that was
she's
first
done
class.
it before.
Yeah. All right. So
but the other thing, on the other side of that, if you're suffering from addiction, alcoholism, whatever, and you need to get help or you're going to die, and the only thing keeping you from getting help is the fact that Lindsay Lohan went to a meeting once and did cocaine after that, you're probably not ready anyway.
This dumb question.
Yeah.
Is it just for alcohol, or do they also address drugs?
If
somebody was to go.
Yeah, if this fellowship existed, Fight Club. No, alcohol is the primary focus, but even in the book, they talk about sedatives and drugs and all that. So like, there's
like the whole cocaine thing was kind of violating the idea. No.
You can. There's people who go there for they get hooked on heroin and they just don't like NA because NA is definitely don't want to like bad talk any kind of fellowship. Whatever you get, whatever works for you works. But AA is just more like professional. Like it's like the granddaddy of all. Like all 12-step fellowships were born out of that.
Got it.
So if you want the best, purest, rawest cocaine fellowship, that's the one you go to. That was an analogy, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you're doing this.
Maybe you can cut that.
What are you doing on MySpace?
So MySpace. I'm bored. I'm 22 years old.
Okay.
I'm hanging out. I'm looking up people that I, met in Montauk when I was 12 or whatever.
Like you're literally just stalking them on the internet.
Yeah, just finding out who's on this thing, who's here, who can I find, who that I go to school with or that I went to school with is on here. Looking up people I hadn't seen since high school, which at that point was not that long ago. And I saw this guy from high school who was super, super weird. I don't want to like shit talk the guy, but he's weird. Never heard him say a word in my entire life. Looked weird, acted weird, everything. And he wrote on this girl's wall, "Hey, so-and-so, what's new and exciting? What are you doing this weekend?" And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy has never said those words with his mouth, but with his fingers, he's very jovial and outgoing and like cool. And I was like, that's really interesting that this guy's acting that different on the internet. And then from that point forward, I became just fascinated with how people act on the internet in both a micro and a macro level. Like, so individuals and groups, the way they act on the internet versus the way they act in real life, it's very interesting to me. I made it a point then to not put some kind of persona out there that was not me, that I couldn't hold up. But yeah, just at that point became obsessed with it. MySpace was a big thing for a while. Then he sold it for, $500 million to Rupert Murdoch, who I think sold it for $20 million or something like that. Good for him. And then Facebook became big, and then Reddit was the next evolution for me. That's where I started making memes, was on Reddit.
When's the first meme
that I made?
Yeah. Like 2005?
No, 2008.
2008?
2008 on a website called quickmeme.com. But you couldn't do anything on Reddit. Like, I'd have a meme that hit the front page of Reddit, and like I cared, and like I couldn't tell anybody about it because not that I was embarrassed, just like I'd say, hey, I made a meme that hit the front page of Reddit. They're like, okay, what's a meme? What's the front page? And what's Reddit? It's like wasn't even worth discussing with people.
Yep. And you're just doing this in your free time, like it's just fun.
I've always loved comedy. Always loved comedy. Ever since I was a little kid.
Are you a comedian?
I've done stand-up before.
But like I feel like on the internet, like the pages are the equivalent of like a digital comedian, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like there's still, it's 2022, maybe in 2040, this will be a different conversation. But there's still a line drawn between somebody who goes up on stage, sweats it out, grinds it out, is out of their home, which is a big stumbling block for a lot of people, myself included, and somebody who makes content from the comfort of their home. Because it's not, I did stand up, I've done stand up, I probably have about 3 years of practice total under my belt. And I just don't love it, but I do want to love it. I want to be good at it. I want to like it because it's still the purest form of comedy to me. But you compare that to having a conversation with someone where you make them spit their drink out. What's more pure than that? How is that not as pure as making a group of strangers laugh?
So how do you go from Reddit memes to Instagram?
So it was a big gap in between those. Okay. So the Cliff Notes version is in 2003, I had a blog. 2005, I had a blog. 2009, I had a video blog. 2012, I had a website. That website won a Webby Award. And then I was trying to get something going.
What were the blogs doing?
The first blog was...
This is going to be fucking great.
How to masturbate like a pro. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I was 22. It's all I knew. No, the first blog was Insight is Never 2020 because hindsight is always 2020, and I was so fucking profound at that time.
Yep.
Then in 2005, I had a website called Jay-Z for Dummies.
Jay-Z for Dummies.
Jay-Z for Dummies. For Dummies books at that time were like as big as it got for everything. That was like the book version of I'm telling people who don't know, obviously you know, the book version of a YouTube tutorial was like ABC for Dummies, whatever it was. You could buy this book and figure it out. So Jay-Z for Dummies was I love Jay-Z. Jay-Z is the greatest creative to ever live, in my opinion.
I think that is a very strong argument.
Yeah.
Kanye's mad now, but yeah.
So Kanye is also a great creative, but he's obviously been, not even just recently, he's been tarnishing his reputation since 2002 or whatever it was when College Dropout came out, and he went on 106 in Park and started yelling at everybody because the Source didn't give him 5 mics. It's like, we're not the Source, dude. What are you yelling at us for? So he's always been a little bit out there.
Dude, the nostalgia of 106 in Park, TRL, those shows were fucking awesome.
Tigger's Basement.
Yeah. They were just, it was an amazing time on the intersection of TV and music.
It was a great time. So then the website was, the video blog was happyisthenewrich.com, which very, very long story. I entered myself in a contest to win my own show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It was like this big own show, whatever. And because the voting link was so hard to find, I bought happyisthenewrich.com and redirected it to my voting link so I could just send people that link and tell people go to happyisthenewrich.com. And I went to Good Morning America with a big sign that said happyisthenewrich.com. Just that's it on the site. Tried to get on TV, just trying to get votes for myself so I could get my own show. And
did it work?
No, not even close. And then after that died, I kept the blog going because I liked the sentiment of Happy is the New Rich, because when I was in California, 30 years old, I don't mean like I didn't have a lot of money. I had like literally 0.00 in my bank account because the IRS and idiot waiter, financially irresponsible. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I can't dig myself out of this hole. There's no way. I'm just not gonna make it.
So 30 years old, no money in the bank.
Yeah, but I want to emphasize, not no money like I had $5 or like I had $700. Like I had zero, literally like I was destitute, full blown. Thankfully, my parents were able to wire me a little money. My friend Jay saved my ass big time. My friend Jay, I've tried to pay him back 1,000 times.
What'd he do?
He wired me money so I could live twice. Like.
Good friend?
Very good friend.
Yeah.
So happyisthenewrich.com. Then I found moneytoday.com.
I found money.
I found moneytoday.com. Yeah.
How do you think of these fucking names?
I don't know. So I found moneytoday.com was born out of two things. One, there's this story add-on that you can add on to any story, which I'm sure you've heard this saying before. If your story sucks and you're losing people, you just go, and then I found $20. And all of a sudden it's a great story, even if it sucks. That's like, maybe it's a Long Island thing. I don't know. Maybe you've heard of it before.
No, that is an America thing.
An adage. Okay. And then secondly, I promised my stepdaughter, Liana, at like however old she was, 5 or 6 years old, I said, if you, whatever it was, clean your room or ABC, I'm going to give you $5. And I forgot about it, and she did the thing that I asked her to do. And then one day I turned around in the car and I go, oh, Liana, you know what? I forgot. I owe you $5. She goes, you're going to give me $5? And I go, yeah. And she's like, rah! She just blew her top. And I was like, holy crap, money's exciting to people. So then one day I was working in the city and I was in Chipotle or Dunkin' Donuts. I don't remember what the first one was, but I was in the bathroom and I was like, I'm going to leave $5 on the sink. Just like to make somebody's day, just to like let them think the universe hasn't forgotten about them. It's not 20. They're not going to feel bad that somebody lost it. It's $5. I'm going to buy your coffee today. And I felt so good after doing that. I did it again. I took a picture of it, bought ifoundmoneytoday.blogspot. or WordPress or whatever, redirected it, made it like a legit looking website. And then I did it every day for, I think, 2 months. And I won a Webby Award, which was back then the coolest thing that had happened in my life. That's like the Oscars for the internet, for people who don't know. But then I let it die.
And you were just doing $5 a day. You were leaving it in random places, taking a photo, and then posting it.
Taking a photo, writing who was around at the time, what I thought would happen. It was like kind of like where'sgeorge.com, but like before you see before the money goes missing.
Yep.
So
why'd you stop?
I'm a loser.
You ran out of money?
No, I'm just an idiot. I kind of like hit I won the Webby, and that was like, oh, cool. I did it. I beat the game. I'm going to stop now. And then I stopped for like a while doing anything creative, anything that was like, you know, invigorating to me creatively. And then one day I was fishing around on Reddit. I never left Reddit. Reddit is the greatest website of all time. Don't care who, you know.
Probably true.
Don't care who asks or what you're into. And it's not confusing. People say it's confusing. I'm like, it's not confusing. It's just
It's the only site where there's conspiracy theories, memes, education, and also like weird communities. Like if you think of
everything.
Yeah, if you think about all the other platforms, like they have some of those.
Yeah.
But it's the only one that really kind of brings them all together. Cause like on Twitter, you can't really like teach people things. Right?
No.
You have memes, you got conspiracy theories, whatever. Like YouTube, there's a lot of teaching, but there isn't necessarily the memes. There's, you know, video that go viral or whatever. But it's different. Reddit's the only place where you can like really bring those things together.
It's where people who are serious about something, anything, can find their people. If you're really into remote controls, you go to reddit.com/r/remote controls and you find your people. You know, it probably exists.
We're going to look. Keep going.
I was going to say lighting because lighting's definite. I wanted to go one step weirder, but lighting 100%, there's a Reddit community for it.
So there's radio control and
which is even weirder. What is that?
You are right. There is /r/remote control. There's 1,000 people in there.
Too many people to be interested in remote controls.
And the content is fucking awesome.
Oh my God.
You know, how you replace certain things, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's wild. Shot in the dark, but there's everything on there. So I'm posting memes on Reddit, finding memes on Reddit, and I come across the Fat Jewish's Instagram page in 2015. And the most recent post from him, or second most recent post, was something I just saw on Reddit. So I click, you know, on his profile, see his email address in the bio. I go, I'm going to email this guy and see if he needs help. For no reason. Cold email, cold thought. It took me like 2 minutes.
How many followers does he have at the time?
At the time, he had like 7 million or 6 million.
Oh, so he's big already.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was dead in the water, late to the meme game in 2016. So I click email. I write in the subject line, because he's the Fat Jewish. He's got a great name. Name is very important. I write Tank Sinatra. That's where it came from.
You just randomly thought of it?
I was like, I'm big. I have blue eyes. I'm from New York. Tank Abbott, Frank Sinatra. Let me like marry those things together. I just wanted to get
What's your Reddit username?
Ace Trentura.
I see a theme. All right, so you hit Fat Jewish, Josh, right? Right? You hit Josh with a email that
Cold
just says
email.
Tank Sinatra in the subject?
In the subject line,
The fuck is he doing opening that email?
Great name.
Yeah, all right.
He probably
What did you say in the email?
So you know a good subject line is key to getting an email opened. I was like, he's gonna open this. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's gonna open it. So I write in the email, hey, I just saw something you posted. I just saw it on Reddit 2 minutes before you posted. I would like to help you, you know, populate your page. I'll send you content. So he writes back immediately and says, yeah, that would be great. I need a ton of help. He had like, you know, a show he was doing, plus size modeling, just a bunch of wild shit that he was into.
Remember the billboards?
Oh, yeah.
He was like basically half naked billboards in New York City.
Yeah, he was the face of Seamless.
With the thing off the top of his head, his like hair.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, that guy is winning life.
Oh, yeah. His hair action, as he called it.
Yeah.
So he writes back immediately. He goes, yeah, I could use the help. I'd appreciate it. Really uncommon also to get an email back from somebody with that amount of people emailing them. So I said, all right, great. What do you want me to do? He goes, just, you know, send me some stuff. So I send him like 40 memes in like, you know, 8 different emails.
So you basically became the Fat Jewish's meme dealer.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
I gave him a little taste.
Yeah.
And then he got hooked. And then I sent him stuff for probably a year and a half after that, every single day I opened up an iCloud photo sharing thing with his phone. So I didn't have to send them to him. He didn't have to look at them. He could just go through there. And I was like,
and how much of your sending him is what's ending up on the page? Like, is it like 100% of the content basically he's posting?
No, because I'm sending him so much.
Yeah, but then is 100% of what he's posting on the page all coming from you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you said the other way, like how much is he actually posting? I was sending him too much to ever post, but I wanted to give him a variety of what was out there.
And how long is it taking you to find 40 memes a day?
No, I sent him 40 memes. He goes, you could do this every day. I go, I could do this every hour. Like I'm a maniac. And that was it.
You know, he like went home and was like, dude, some fucking weirdo named Hank Sinatra is sending me 40 memes a day. And there's literally friends that are like, that's weird.
Yeah. Don't tell him where you live.
All right. Yeah. So you're sending these to him. He's posting them. Yeah. And like, you don't have a page yet. You don't have anything?
I have my page, which was like a bodybuilding idiot selfie mirror, no shirt page.
Okay.
At this point.
Are you telling him to tag that?
No, I'm not. I said, I don't need anything.
He's not paying you.
No,
nothing. Okay,
no. Which is crazy because I still today, to this day, hear people talk about, I interned at Def Jam in 2005 when Jay-Z was president. Dream for me. I would have paid to do it. I didn't get paid to do it. I didn't get paid to go there. I had to take a train into the city, go spend a full day there, take the train home, eat, feed myself, the whole 9 yards. And I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but this whole, and I'm not trying to like, listen, if people can get paid for an internship, great. But you got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get attention from people that you want to get attention from. I don't mean random attention like, oh, I'm codependent, I need people to pay attention to me. I mean, if you're really into this field, if that person asks you to be next to them and work next to them, free, paid, tons of money, no money, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
If you can swing it. And I don't want people to think that I came from like some background where I was like, my daddy was funding my life. Like I told you, I had no money. My dad worked for the railroad. We didn't like, it was just a normal life. Like I had holes in my socks, but I had socks. It was right. It was perfect for what I needed because it was painful enough that I wanted more, but it wasn't so painful that like my self-esteem was just obliterated. Yeah. And I never thought I deserved success.
What did you do at Def Jam?
I worked for the assistant to the director of A&R operations for Island and for Def Jam. So I was like, it was a great position to be in because every artist that came through those doors at that time and put out music, I was a part of.
What'd you learn?
Nothing. I learned I don't want to work in the music business.
Actually, pretty important lesson.
Yeah. I learned that it's not glamorous. It's terrible. It's.
But why do you think like? Did you learn anything from the artist as to who ended up becoming successful and who didn't?
No, because becoming successful in music is very much like becoming successful on the internet. If you're willing to throw caution to the wind and just saturate the scene with content, you might make it. If you don't, you definitely won't make it. If you do, you still might not make it, but you have 0% chance of making it if you're not willing to just go above and beyond for people. Like Rihanna was signed at that time. And here's something I learned, which is useless, but people are stars before they're stars.
What do you mean?
Like Rihanna walked out of the Def Jam building. I had no idea who she was. Didn't even, upon the replay was not even out yet. And she walked through the lobby out the doors and everybody turned and looked at her. And it was like, she was already a star before she was a star. I don't know how else to describe it.
Is it like a self-confidence thing? Is it like a attractiveness thing? Is it like a way that they carry themselves? Like what
all of that. All of that. It's just somebody who believes in themselves for no reason. Because they know who they are before anybody else knows who they are. So if you know who you are before anybody else knows who you are, you can get other people to like, I heard the term gravitas around that time, gravity. Like there's something about you that makes people want to
just pull people,
pay attention to you. And whatever you do, whether you play sports, make music, write books, speak, make memes, whatever, if you have already decided that people should be into what you're doing, then they still might not. You might come off as delusional. Like, I don't know if you watched the Kanye West documentary, but
I thought it was fantastic.
It was awesome. Yeah. Watching him go through the offices and put his CD in the player.
That was my favorite part.
And have people not care. But he already knew who he was at that time.
Yeah.
So he didn't care who believed him.
Yeah.
It was like, you're
well,
wrong.
just the act of having someone follow you around to do the documentary 25 years ago or whatever, before he literally was just a producer. He wasn't even a musician, right? Like or like an artist.
Yeah.
And then to have the confidence that one day this is going to be worth having is absolutely insane thought.
Yeah.
When you're 20 something years old.
Well, there's this like fine line between woo-woo nonsense manifestation, which I'm not saying I don't believe in. I just feel like there's a second side to it, and deciding the result before you even take the first step. And if you think you deserve good in life, I'm not saying you'll get it, but when something good presents itself to you, you won't write it off and go, that's a fluke. Or if something bad presents itself to you, you don't go, that's what I deserve. I'm going to take that. If you think you deserve good things in life, you will get them, not because you're special, just because life presents you with, I think, an equal amount of negative opportunities and positive opportunities. And whatever you decide you deserve is what you're going to latch onto and focus on and obsess on.
One of my biggest things I tell young people is that luck's not real.
Yeah.
And they get all like, what do you mean? I'm a lucky person, I'm not lucky, whatever. And it's this idea that like probability is a mathematical concept, right? Like you walk out in the street, is the car there? Is it not? Like that's just probability.
Yeah.
But luck is if you and I both get hit by the car, you're like, damn, I was really unlucky. I got hit by a car today.
Yeah.
I may go home and say, hey, I'm really lucky today. I didn't die.
Yeah.
Right. It's a psychological component to it. And so similar to what you're talking about, is like if you're prepared mentally for certain opportunities, you even view the same exact opportunity differently, and will take, you'll lean into one and you'll avoid another just because whatever mental state you're in.
Yeah. And the real sad part is that if you're in that negative mental state and so there's a story, I don't know if it's true, they say it's true, but why am I talking like Trump right now? I don't know if it's true. They say it's true. I don't know.
Hit us with the by the way, there's a whole new, I don't know if you know the new occupation, New York City. If you obviously go to Trump Tower, there's the freaking guy. He's out there. He's got the mask on and he's doing the impressions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, say what you want. Trump created at least one job for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like that guy was not here.
Created an industry. Who
like
knows how many people
ago.
have that job? Yeah. So there's a story from this movie called What the Bleep Do We Know, which is like super duper new age, whatever. Right. But even like that was the first time I heard them talk about the particle experiment where the particle slit, right? Mm-hmm. There's another story in that movie where the Native American people are on the shore and they see ripples in the water. Like they're like, they see something, but they can't figure out what it is.
Okay.
And then they finally, it's not until the people get off the boats and tell them what they are that they are able to see them. So if you are so unfamiliar with good things in your life that you literally, it's not that you're not capitalizing, you're not even seeing it. It's like in another dimension for you. Then that's when you have to change and say, all right, no. I'm a human being. I'm not the worst person that's ever lived. I deserve happiness. Why? Why not? That's my answer to why. Like, why wouldn't you deserve happiness? Like, what makes you so bad and so uniquely horrible that you deserve to be punished here on earth for the rest of your life? And the answer is nothing. So and this is all stuff that I've come from point A to point B on. I don't want to make it seem like I was just born with this great attitude. Like, my attitude sucked for a long time. And I talked to great people who were persistent with me and loving and caring and encouraging. And finally, I was like, all right, yeah, I can actually remember when I was in California, totally broke, stressing out. And this guy, Scott, we were in the locker room and he goes, some people are just never going to have money, man. And I looked at him, I go, yeah, well, that's not going to be me. And it was the first time I had ever thought that, felt that, known that, whatever. Mm-hmm. And this guy was tying a shoe and he looked up at me like, holy shit, is that Rihanna? No, it was like I finally convinced myself that I deserved all the good things that life has to offer. Why not? I couldn't keep a girlfriend before that. I couldn't get ahead financially. My health was like not great. My mentality was terrible. And then in that instant, I was like, nah, that's over. That's done. I killed a part of myself in that moment.
Why do you think you did it?
It's too painful to exist otherwise.
Yeah.
If you have a tumor in your body, you got to cut it out or it's going to kill you. Mm-hmm. That person that I was like a spiritual tumor. I couldn't move past couldn't move on in my life until that person was put away.
How much of that mindset leads you to send the email to Fat Jewish? Or do or it's just like, no, I just want to fuck around on the internet?
No, it was like, I'm going to get this guy to pay attention. And if he doesn't, I'm just going to find somebody else. He happened to be the first person I emailed, the first person I responded, the first person that I interacted with. But if he didn't respond, I would have reached out to someone else. I couldn't be stopped at that point in my life. And he responded. He goes, yeah, please do it. I'm a bodybuilding Instagram page at that point. I have some following, but like nothing. Like,
does he know that that's your page?
Yeah, I showed him. I said, hey, this is my Instagram page. My Instagram page at that point was still at George Resch, which is like, that never would have grown. So he just thinks I'm a regular dad dude with meathead from Long Island.
Yeah.
So he likes that because—
Which is true.
100% true. Yeah. So I think had he known that I was trying to build a meme page at that point, he wouldn't have helped me out. But I wasn't trying to build a meme page at that point. I just wanted to be associated with someone who was doing well or adjacent, successful.
Was it like a creative outlet? Like to some degree, like, you wanted to be creative. And so like this gave you a way to kind of like almost like market test as well. Cause you're like sending the memes, you post it, you can see which ones are popular, which ones aren't. And like you almost like got an apprenticeship to some degree of like learning what works.
It was, to be honest, now that I'm saying it and the story is coming together, even in my mind, it was like one step closer. Like, so I was the intern for the assistant to the director of A&R operations at Island and Def Jam. Now I'm the direct source of content for this massively successful Instagram page. So even though it wasn't the end game, it was getting closer to doing it. So I'm sending him stuff. Then out of all the stuff that he's posting, I'm like, this is funny. I want to post this. And this is what I always tell people who are starting out. You have to be ready for pain. You don't have to, you don't have to wallow in it, but you know, I did the Ed Milet show and he was like, tell me what it's like going from 0 to 3 million. And I was like, well, I used to think everyone starts from 0. That's not true. Everyone starts from, because even if you have 187 followers on your page, that's still 187 more than you have if you start a new page. And for a normal person, that's a lot of people. So it goes from 187 down to 172 when you post your first meme. So you actually feel like you're moving backwards because people will be like, what are you going to fucking start a meme page now? You're trying to be an influencer, bro? Like, it's annoying. So your aunt unfollows you, your friend's wife unfollows you, your cousin unfollows you because they don't want to be a part of whatever you're trying to do, which sucks, you know, when you say it out loud, but it just is what it is. So I'm posting memes on my page. And then all of a sudden, I changed my Instagram handle to Tank Sinatra. Then he starts tagging me on Instagram. Like
he just randomly started doing it.
Like 3 months after I started sending him stuff. I guess he was like, this guy's helping me out big time. Or throw him a bone. So then I grow to 300,000 followers before I even have a chance to realize what's going on. It was just boom, 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 growing.
Wow.
Yeah, which 300.
And were you posting memes at this time, or you're still like?
No, I was posting memes.
You're naked in bodybuilding.
No, I'm posting memes, but at about 30,000 followers, I said to my wife, I'm like, this page feels like it's not my own anymore. I don't like it. I want to like take it back a little bit. So I post a picture of my face and I go from 31,500 followers down to like 29,000. And I was like, oh man, that hurts.
Fuck.
But fuck them. They're gone. They were going to leave anyway at some point. I'm not trying to build like a fake connection with people. I want people to know there's a real person behind this page. I'm the funny guy. I'm the one who's making these memes. Because at that point, there was this guy, Trev Soul Electric, who passed away, who was making his own memes. He was like really the only person who was consistently making their own memes at that point.
Everyone else was just reposting.
Yeah, because at that point, at that time, it was equivalent to a DJ in a bar playing a song by, Kid Rock. There was nothing wrong with it at all because nobody was really doing anything with it. Once money got involved, people were like, hey,
that's my meme.
That's my meme. Well, make another meme. I don't know what to tell you, you know? So that's why I think consistency beats everything. Always 100%. You cannot outperform consistency.
I believe that to my core.
Yeah.
It's like on the internet, I always tell people when they ask me if they should start a podcast or this or that or whatever, I'm like, don't even start. Yeah. Like you're going to quit.
Not if you're not. If you're going to quit, don't even bother doing it. You're going to waste a lot of time.
Yeah. And instead, if you're going to actually commit to doing it, like just pick it. Hey, I'm going to post once a day. I'm going to post 3 times a day. I'm going to post once a week. Whatever your fucking thing is, whatever the frequency is, whatever.
Yeah.
do not stop. We have somebody that we work with, and they do a lot of like recording stuff.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and she asked me, she goes, what advice you got for me? I said, don't stop recording. Like everything else we could figure out. Like just don't stop recording.
Yeah.
The second you stop recording, it's over.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same thing here. It's like the consistency.
Yeah. You get people dependent on your content. They did you the honor of following your page.
Mm-hmm.
They saw something you posted. They said, that's so good. I don't want to miss anything else this person posts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal, especially now where there's who knows how many choices of people to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So not only am I amazed that people still follow me today, new people that have never heard of me, which I think is fantastic. Like, I love meeting people who have never heard of Tank Sinatra, Tank's Good News, influencers in the wild. It's like, okay, I'm not done yet. I haven't hit the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being half facetious. Like, I'm not even close to the end.
Of course.
Not even close.
How do you go from 30,000 to 300,000? He's just tagging you over and over
I'm
and over
posting memes. So not only is he tagging me, when they get to the page, they see there's something to follow here.
Got it.
So that's the other thing. People think if you get tagged on a page, instantaneous followers. It's not a percentage. People it's never a percentage. It's never like, if I can get 0.05% of people who follow me to buy this thing, I'll be rich. No, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody cares. It doesn't, because each person is an individual. There's no human being in their right mind who's going to see a page that's been tagged, go there, see there's nothing to follow, and then follow it.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them something to follow, and then he stopped tagging me for, he really stopped posting more than anything. And I was faced with a decision. I said, all right, that was fun. I can either say, what a ride, and go back to selling fence. And, even though I hadn't left fence, I just mean as like my primary outlet. Or I can keep going. And I kept going. And then that's when I really started making all of my own memes, because I said, if people are I want them to get something here that they can't find anywhere else.
The unique content.
This meme has never been posted on Reddit. You've never seen it on Twitter. You've never seen it on Facebook. I made it. I posted it. This is fresh baked bread right out of the oven. Mm-hmm. You can go get bread somewhere else for sure, but you can't get this bread, Mm-hmm. So that's when it really started to grow. And I started to curry favor with other meme pages, celebrities, Instagram, personas or whatever, because...
Who's the first person that follows you that you're like, holy shit?
I don't remember who the first one. There used to be a website called Social Rank where you could put in your Instagram handle and it would like feed you back all the people that follow you ranked in the size of their following. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember, because there was so many of them at that point. The coolest one for me, for no reason, no disrespect to anybody, was John Favreau. Because even though at the time he had like 70,000 followers, he had still done Swingers and directed Iron Man and, was a killer in Hollywood, and he only followed 70 people, and he still follows me to this day. I don't even think he knows that, but that to me was like, okay, we're past celebrities now. We're past athletes and musicians and Instagram influencers. This guy's like the guy behind the guy behind the guy.
Yep.
Who's still the guy in front. You still know who he is, but he's like infiltrated Hollywood in a way that I hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. Even people like Martin Scorsese, he's not a movie star. Mm-hmm. He's a director. John Favreau is everything. And I had just watched Chef also at that point.
Great movie.
Oh, man. I don't want to say it's underrated. I don't know how it's rated, but it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
As a restaurant person, a person who worked in restaurants, that movie was just like ASMR for food people. The whole thing.
All right. So you're at 300,000 followers. You keep posting.
Yep.
How do you get to 3 million?
You just don't stop. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was making and posting between 10 and 15 memes a day.
You were making 10 or 15 memes per day, like original memes.
Psychotic, yeah, just out of my mind.
How do you think of the ideas? At
that point, I was
like, you're not a funny person at all. Like, I've had zero fun with you today.
I know.
Like,
wet blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
That was almost my Instagram name.
So how do you think of the ideas?
So at that point, I was very much dependent on finding images and seeing something in the image that reminded me of my life that I could then make funny.
Got it. So you're trying to make it relatable to the audience.
You're trying to just extract some kind of emotion from the image. So I haven't told this story in a long time. When I was 5, I was like, get this guy checked out. You know, like, let's figure out what's going on with him.
All right.
Something's wrong. And they gave me an IQ test. I was 5 or 6. I was definitely in this one school because I switched schools in 2nd grade. They gave me an IQ test, and they tested IQ and then EQ. And the emotional intelligence part, I still remember it to this day, dude. It's so strange. The doctor showed me an image of a woman sitting on a sofa, old woman, and an old man standing behind her with his hand on her shoulder. He's like, what do you see in this picture? My son is 5 now. If I showed him that picture, he'd go, I see grandma and grandpa and a couch and a clock. I was like, it looks like maybe their kid just moved out of the house and they're sad and they're trying to deal with it. And he was like, what?
Yep. Hey, parents, you were right. Psychopath.
No, it wound up being good. He's like, this guy's emotional intelligence is unbelievable. It's off the charts. So that's the only reason I can explain why I was able to and I'm still able to look at something and see something that maybe other people don't see. And that's a skill. It's a what is the word that I'm looking for? It's a proclivity, but it's also a skill. So you can have a knack for it, but also work on it. So at that point, I was just looking at images and going, that's what's happening in that image. Boom, 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 all day, every day. But I had to look at so many images for that to happen.
What is the process? You're like finding images and then you're just posting them sometimes? You're like actually putting words on top of them? Like, how did you start to understand what the type of image or the type of meme that would work? So actually what happened was I was posting memes that I had found, but then I was writing the caption underneath that you see on Instagram. And I kept seeing people say, look at this caption, it's so funny. Got it. And I was like, I gotta like get out of my own way. I'm writing captions that people like. The meme is funny, sure, but if the caption's funny too, why don't I just take my caption, put it over that image, and then I have to write another caption? So I doubled my, work. Yeah. But I was encouraged by people's reaction to it. It's no different, and this is like the difference between comedians and, what I do, which is... What do you call what you do? Meme maker? Meme maker, I don't know. Yeah. Idiot. Like when you meet somebody at like a bar or something. Don't even get into it. I can't even tell them. I don't know. Really? I have no idea. Yeah. Like if you go to a wedding and it's like family or something, they're like, hey, you still making the memes, you fucking weirdo? Oh, if they already know what I do, great. But like my friend Adam, who I do the Meme Daddies podcast with, we talked about this multiple times. It's like someone will say, what do you do for a living? And I'll ask them, do you know what Instagram is? And if they're like, yeah, but I don't have an account. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin with you because you're going to ask me so many annoying questions that I have no patience to answer. So this guy who's such a nice guy, dude, I actually apologized to him because I felt bad about how I reacted. I love Larry David because I'm Larry. Like, I don't relate to Larry David. I am, like, I'll say the things that, like, you're not supposed to say. And I'm not as funny as him, but I just relate to him in that sense where, like, I can't hold my tongue. So I'm at I'm in this guy's garage smoking cigars, and this guy's like, so what do you do for work? Because he worked at the fence company that I used to work at. So I was like, I felt connected to him. He's like, so what do you do? I'm like, do you know what Instagram is? He's like, yeah, but I don't really like use it. I'm like, well, I post memes on Instagram, then I have Thanks Good News and Influencers in the Wild, and people will like call me or email to. That may have been the problem. Did I say call? I said people contact me to advertise their movie, TV show, app, product, service, whatever, on the pages, and that's how I make money. And this kid's mind just could not process it. So we stopped talking about it, and then 5 minutes later he'd be like, so wait, does like Instagram call you? And and I finally said, I'm like, dude, you know what? Like, let's just forget it. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, I don't want to talk to you about this. Let's talk about anything else, because it's like me trying to explain to you Aramaic when you don't even speak English. Like you're never going to understand it. And I don't have the patience to teach you everything about the internet in this one conversation. So there's a post button.
He's like, oh, sorry. I was like, no, it's not like, I'm not mad. It's just like, you're never going to get it. Not on my watch anyway. Like, I'm not doing the work for you.
What is the difference of like older people versus younger people when they find out? Are the younger kids like, oh, I follow the account, like you're hilarious, they recognize you on the street, things like that? Or is there actually not a difference in age?
There's a wide range of age of people who know who I am, and I'm like forever aware and cognizant and grateful for the fact that I was a drug addict, alcoholic who looked like they were probably not going to make it past 25. And now people will go, are you Tank from Tank's Good News? Oh, I love that page, man. You're doing great work. Like the fact that I'm associated with humor and positivity, whereas I was not associated with that at all. I was always associated with humor, but I was not a positive person in any sense of the word, is a blessing, gift, whatever you want to call it, that I can't even say I deserve. I feel like, yes, I've done the stuff and whatever, but it's still, that's like probably the best part of my life, is the fact that I'm associated with positivity in the world. That's unbelievable to me.
I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
So when people ask you what you do, you should just say, I program people's minds.
Yeah. Okay. See how
right?
that goes.
I mean, that's basically what you're doing. Like, do you ever think about that? You're responsible for like the information that is seeping into millions of people's minds. Yeah. You're a powerful fucking person. You're a powerful fucking person.
Bang, bang.
Like, you ever think, like, does that like responsibility ever hit you?
You know what? So it's very much like if you gain weight over a period of time and you're like, someone sees you and they're like, holy shit, dude. Good? What's happening? Versus looking at yourself in the mirror every day and you've seen each quarter of a pound go on. You never really notice it. Every once in a while, I'm talking very rarely, I'll be hit with the magnitude of what I do versus what it feels like. And that's always great. Like it's never panic. It's never like, oh my God, I gotta I gotta make this person happy or that person happy. There was a point in time where when celebrities started following me, I was like, I don't even want this person to follow me. I don't want it to affect how I post and decision-making and all that. But then I realized that they're coming to me and making the decision. I'm not begging anybody to follow me. If I post something you don't like, which happens all the time, that is just not my problem. It's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. You can try and make it my problem and say I shouldn't post it, but you're wrong. You're absolutely unequivocally wrong. You do not get to tell somebody how to, like this house that I've built over the past 5 years. If you came into my house and said you don't like where the couch is, okay, cool. And you tell me I got to move it or I got to break a window out of the wall and move it over here, get the fuck out of my house, dude. I don't want you here. I didn't even know you were here.
Yeah.
Till you started complaining.
Has the mob come for you at any point? Like, did you ever post anything and they would get like real pissed?
I don't think I'm important enough for a mob. B, no. There have been things, listen, there's the mob and then there's like the ubiquitous mob that is just piranhas, never stop.
Yeah.
Yes, that happens
the
every
unhappy
day.
people who are just on the internet.
Yeah, but it's never been like a group of people who are like, we got to get this guy taken off the internet. But every single day I got people who are mad at me. And they're not mad at me. They're just mad in general. And I happen to be in their way. It's like we bumped into each other on the street in New York City. But digitally, like I have nothing to do with you. I'm not your, you don't even know who I am. Yeah. You can't dislike me. You cannot feel the way that you feel about me. Logically, you have something going on in your life. I get it. I feel bad. Hope you figure it out. But again, not my problem.
I have followers on Twitter who despise me.
Hate followers.
Despise me.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll see them tweeting stuff and I'm like, I literally don't have it in me to like somebody to that severity or dislike somebody, even if I spent every single second of every single day of every single fucking year with them. Yeah. Right? And it's like, by the way, also on the other side, like there's some people who like I'm like, it's weird. Like you don't have to be so, like attached. Yeah. Like, we're good. But it's the weirdest thing. You're like, man, how did you get such a strong opinion about someone that you've never talked to, that you've never hung out with, that you don't know anything other than, I don't know, I fucking tweet a couple times a day.
Yeah. Well, they probably have a strong opinion about something that they think you represent and you're just getting that hate. Yeah. It's not you. You gotta, that's the other thing that people, I think, have to realize. If you want to make this a profession, you cannot take anything personally. Like Ryan Holiday, love Ryan Holiday. Don't take adulation or criticism. Nothing matters. It doesn't, unless you are so dependent on other people's opinion of you, which I get. Sorry about that. This water is very toxic. No, I'm kidding. Unless you're so dependent on people's opinion of you that you need it to thrive, which I come from that background where it's like, I need a compliment today or I'm gonna freak out. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect who you are, how you feel about yourself. If you know you're doing the right thing. If you're not, then that's a totally different story.
How big is the business? Like you got 3 Instagram pages.
Yeah.
How many employees / people help you? How much money do you make? Like, how do you think about when somebody's like, okay, you run a business, you're an entrepreneur, whether it looks like a normal business or not. Like,
so Instagram like calls you?
I'm just, when you were saying that, I was on a call recently and me and another person, and there's a 25-year-old girl who's on the call. And so she discovered that through somebody she knew, I had a lot of followers on Twitter. We got the YouTube, all this stuff. And she like hits me with the, like, holy shit, I got an idea.
Yeah.
You should put the content on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't run the TikTok account. We have somebody here who posts it because I will get addicted to it and I got to stay the fuck off that thing.
Yeah.
But we're viral.
Yeah.
Millions of views a week, all this shit and everything. And I felt immense pride telling the 25-year-old, like, we're already there.
Yeah.
We already got the fucking views. Like we're good.
Yeah.
But you just repeated it over and over and over again on Instagram. I know you got the TikTok and all that, but like, how do you think about the business behind this?
So like you said before, sometimes it's an accidental spark, sometimes it's by design, sometimes it's both. So this was more of like, I had already had the 3 blogs, the website. I was not going to squander this opportunity.
You were practicing.
Oh, yeah.
Like in hindsight.
I was gearing up.
Yeah, in hindsight. I think a lot about apprenticeship, right? Which is kind of like the stuff with Fat Jewish. But also practice, even though you probably thought that first blog, like, I'm going to fucking make it, right? And the second blog,
I'm going to be Seth Godin instantly.
But like really what you were doing is you were practicing, and then this is the one that takes off.
Yeah. I was trying for a while. And you got to... Like, so as far as the Instagram stuff goes, Tank Sinatra, Tank's Good News, Influencers in the Wild, all I did, I met this guy, I don't remember the name of his company. It's a big snowboarding company. It wasn't Burton, but it was like a big one. And I met him, I was working at this restaurant, Nick's, in San Clemente, California, and he was loaded. And he was cool, and we like hit it off. And I was like, bro, how did you figure out and like execute on this idea? He goes, I just saw a hole in the market and I filled it. And sometimes you fill it and it's a lot. Sometimes you fill it and the hole's bigger than you realize. And Tank Sinatra, total accident, total fluke, imposter syndrome, House of Cards, whole 9 yards, but enjoying it, loving it. I still loved it. Then I started Tank's Good News because I realized, like everybody realized, it sounds cliche now and stupid, but like enough with the bad news, dude. Like we get it. It's been going on forever.
So Tank Sinatra's got 3 million followers. How much is on Good News?
Almost 3, 2.9.
Okay. And then Influencers in the Wild?
Almost 5 million.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Oh, yeah. And that's the newest one.
Jeez. How much also were those accounts dependent on the earlier accounts? And I've talked about this a lot, where like I was on Twitter first.
Yeah.
Then I did email. Then I did the podcast. Then I did YouTube. Yeah. A lot of kids are like, I'm on the internet. I got 17 accounts on all these different platforms I never even fucking heard of before. They're like, I got to be there. Right? And I'm like, dude, none of your accounts look good. None of them are working.
Yeah.
Like, just focus. And it sounds like that's kind of what you did. It's like you focused on one, it grew, then you started a second one, that one grew, and then you launched a third one?
So I started Tank's Good News during Hurricane Harvey, like the maybe like the 4th or 5th day of it, because it was so tragic, obviously, what was happening, but there was so much good coming out of it. So
it was just on a whim.
Yeah, it was like I posted something on Tank Sinatra once where a girl was walked down the aisle by a guy who took her father's heart. Her father was a heart donor. Her father passed away. This guy walked her down the aisle. So it's like, oh, okay, can I get a minute? I'm gonna cry. So I posted that on Tank Sinatra just because I was like, you know what? I can't not post this. It's too good. Yes, it's not funny, obviously, but like, it's fucking good. Yeah. And it was one of my most popular posts on Tank Sinatra.
Wow.
tons of likes, tons of engagement, tons of comments, and tons of celebrity engagement on it. You could see at that point which celebrities liked it and which didn't. So I was like, that's interesting, but I didn't think too much of it. And then when Hurricane Harvey started, I took that experience with what I wanted to do, and it gave me the courage to just make the page, start the page, post about it from Tank Sinatra, say, hey, I picked out like whatever it was, 12 or 15 posts so that when you got to the page, there was a full, screen of content. And I was like, I started this page, go check it out if you want some good news in your life, or if you're tired of, being told what went wrong during the day. And that page grew to 100,000 followers in the first week. And I thought that was amazing. And it is amazing. But then Influencers in the Wild, I posted about from Tank Sinatra. And I posted about Tank's good news from Tank Sinatra like 3 or 4 times over the course of a week. And I was like, wow, this is going to work. I don't know how or to what extent, but it's going to work somehow. So that Influencers in the Wild, I posted about it twice on Tank Sinatra, once one week and then again the following week. And that grew to 1 million in 3 weeks.
Jesus.
And that was like imposter syndrome disappeared. The House of Cards was now like a legitimate structure. And I was like, maybe I do know something about the internet and I should stop being so hard on myself and waiting for this bottom to drop out, because I don't think it's going to drop out. I was still waiting for Mark Zuckerberg to go, you know what? I've made a mistake. And I'm shutting it all down. Instagram, Facebook, I'm shutting it all down. That's not going to happen. Like I saw what happened with Vine, and I feel terrible for people whose whole livelihood was made on Vine. Same thing with TikTok. They're constantly talking about banning it, taking it away. How could you put any effort into that platform? Any real effort? Repurposing content is another thing. But if all of your eggs are in that one basket, you better start cracking some eggs and eating, because it's going to be a long winter if that whole thing gets shut down. Instagram, I trust.
You're bigger on Instagram or
way
TikTok?
Bigger. Yeah,
way
yeah,
bigger.
Way bigger. Yeah, not even close.
All right. Employees? Do you have any?
No employees, but I have a guy who helps with video editing. So Jarrett is phenomenal. I have a Snapchat tile for Influencers in the Wild. So he edits the video for that. He also edits the Meme Daddies podcast. And we just basically look at memes and talk shit and be dads on the podcast. It's exactly what it sounds like. That's really easy to explain. But
it's easy to explain to people on the internet.
Yeah, true.
The guy in the garage is like, a podcast?
Meme Daddies?
Like a fucking radio station?
Gay? What do you do? Gay stuff? Daddies. Why are you calling it daddies? Yeah, they don't.
Do you know who Danny Boy Hustle Hard is?
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna
change your life.
Danny Boy Hustle Hard?
Danny Boy Hustle Hard. I'm about to change your life. So Danny Boy Hustle Hard, he was driving at the airport. He's like, you fucking walk out of the airport at like LaGuardia or whatever. I think he was at Newark, and he got a car or whatever. And I think he was actually, Daddy, don't hate me if I get this wrong, but I think he was actually driving the van for a fucking hotel.
Okay.
Like, the shuttle back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So eventually he meets the people, whatever. Big break comes. He starts getting into like the professional athletes.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys who like really like him. And so he starts renting like an Escalade every day and like going picking guys up. And he's like, got like a little business going. He now has become the guy in the tri-state area for all the professional athletes, musicians, like all these guys, OBJ, Saquon, like the whole thing, right? And so the only way I know how to describe to him how we got to know him. We were going to dinner one night. Saquon's going to be there, but he's like, yo, let me send Danny. He'll pick you up.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I get a warning text. I should have known. One of the guys texted me. He's like, yo, just put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
All right. We did not stop at a single red light throughout all of Manhattan.
Really?
He could get you anywhere in the tri-state area in 15 minutes. It's hard to explain. I have seen this man. Traffic doesn't exist in his mind. He will find a way.
Really?
The shoulder.
Oh, that's interesting.
Opposite direction, whatever. So the reason why I bring him up is
opposite direction.
It's like fucking. It's a two-lane road. Who cares how one of the lanes is coming this way?
Yeah, they'll get out of the way.
Yeah, of course.
That's a New York maniac.
So you're already kind of like this what I'm talking about, right?
I want his number. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So one time I called him We had like a live show and I called him. I said, hey, let's talk about some fucking economy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's up with inflation? Oh, let me tell you the price of gasoline. And he's going on and on and on, right? The whole thing. Yeah. This is the best fucking economic analysis I've ever heard, right? Yeah. Because it was the actual truth from the ground of no spin, no massaging of data, no, like take out all the academic bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yo, the prices are going up and people can't live like this.
Yeah.
Right. And I think of like the guy in the garage. I think of like all these people who you and I probably know, and they tend to usually be like New Yorkers or that type of mentality, where it's just like, no bullshit. Mm-hmm. Here's the view of the world. And like to some degree, what the accounts you have, you're doing it with like from a humorous spin.
Yeah.
But like you're just a mirror. You're reflecting back to the world what they already think, what they already feel, what they already do.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are like, oh shit, like, I like that. This episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep. Good sleep is a game changer, and the 8 Sleep Pod is the best sleep machine. I sleep on it every single night. A great night of sleep allows you to be healthier, be more rested, and have more energy throughout the day. And on the brand new 8 Sleep Pod 3, you can sleep as cold as 55 degrees Fahrenheit or as hot as 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the secret of thermoregulation. Better sleep, better energy. Get yourself an 8 Sleep. You can go to 8sleep.com/pomp today to go ahead and get $150 off your order. 8sleep.com/pomp. Not only do I sleep on it every night, it literally changed my life, and I begged the founders to let me invest in the company. 8sleep.com/pomp. Go get yourself an 8 Sleep Pod and get a better night of sleep.
Yeah, if there was no like, this is gonna sound insane because it is obviously, if there was no society or like collective angst, there would be no memes, period. 2 things. One, Colin Quinn, one of my favorite comedians, said, if you want to, he didn't say it to me, he just said it's like in general, making it sound like we had a lunch. He goes, if you want to be funny, don't talk about what you think is funny, talk about what pisses you off and people will laugh. That's number 1. 2, I don't know if you know this, but I did a live stream with Mark Zuckerberg and Adam Mosseri on Instagram. Do you know that or no?
I did not know that.
Yeah, my life is insane, dude.
Well, I worked at Facebook, and I'm imagining Zuck and you talking, I now need to go watch the recording.
Yeah, it was awesome. So they were, Mosseri and Zuck were doing some kind of live to explain how they're going to implement new tools for creators to make money, blah, blah, blah. So Zuck DM'd me, or Mosseri DM'd me. I don't remember who. No, it must have been Mosseri at that point. He goes, hey, I'm going live with Mark tomorrow. Like, check in if you can make it. So I was like, yeah. So as soon as I get in there, I start like making jokes in the chat, right?
Yeah. Like not dick jokes, like funny, but PG.
Yeah, of course. Just typing stuff, whatever I can think of that's funny.
Yeah.
So then I write, I said like 20 minutes into it, I'm like, Zuck, you gave us meme gold when you rubbed all that sunblock on your face. Thank you for that from us, the memers. And Mosseri saw it and he goes, oh no. He goes, Tank is in here. Did you see that? And Mark goes, yeah, I saw it. And then, or something like that. Yeah. And then Mark was like, oh yeah, here's what happened. He was trying to stay away from, he was trying to shield himself from the paparazzi, so he just covered his face.
No, he did not.
Yes.
That's really what happened?
He was trying to make sure the paparazzi couldn't get a picture of him. Instead, they got one of the best pictures that's ever been taken of anybody.
I don't know if it's better the sun lotion on his face, or the fucking foil. Like
both.
Like the combination. Internet Hall of Fame.
The sunblock, the look of shock on his face that like, oh no, you got me. The foil and his dump truck ass made a perfect picture. So he starts talking about it, and then they were like, maybe we should, get some of these guys in here to talk about this. So either that, or I was like, if you guys want something, if you want it to hear from us, I'm ready to go whenever. I had just finished doing cardio, sweating my balls off, no shirt on. I'm in my kitchen looking at this thing, and Adam goes, hey, do you want to get Tank in here and talk to him a little bit? And Mark goes, yeah, sure. So I run downstairs, put a sweatshirt on, go into my office, turn the lights down so you can't see I'm like profusely sweating. And they start asking me questions about memes. And Mark Zuckerberg goes, Tank, what do we need to do to get the memes, keep coming? And I go, as long as the world keeps turning, the memes will keep churning, brother. And they both laughed. And I felt so good that I made them laugh. Because you have to think, if you were a normal person, which I am and you are and everybody is, but like we've dealt with some high level people before. I don't know. Let's just, we'll do it. So I felt good that I handled that situation with, creativity and all that.
That is a fucking awesome line.
Yeah. And I just made it up on the spot. It wasn't like I hadn't planned to say that. So I don't remember where I was going with that, but all we're doing is telling people what's going on in a humorous way. Like there's plenty of people who get not their news facts from memes, but the breaking part of something from memes. Like you'll make a meme about something and someone will go, did that happen? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happened. Sometimes you're too early. Sometimes you're too early on a trend and you make a joke about something that's not going to hit critical mass for 3 days and it bombs. And then you're like, shit, I missed it. You were too early. It's like paddling too early into a wave. You're not going to make it. You're going to get, crushed or too late. You got to be like just right on society.
But I think I've said this a bunch of times. The meme is the message now. Like, like whole like a picture's worth 1,000 words, whatever.
Yep.
And I don't know. We can debate like who's the best meme lord of them all right now. But I would put Elon. He's pretty high up there. I don't think he's making the memes.
Yeah.
Right. But like
he's an idiot.
You think he's an idiot?
I said that on purpose to get you to react.
All right, what do you think?
I think Elon Musk has lost 80 to 95% of his charm over the last 12 months in the world. I think people liked him. He's obviously a brilliant, genius person, but he's also an idiot though. He's like, if you really dig into who he is, he's done a ton of stuff, but he's also done nothing. Like the whole PayPal thing, it wasn't like he didn't really do anything at PayPal. His friend, like they sold it, whatever, he got rich. Tesla, he like just kind of Ray Kroc'd it. He kind of like, I'm going to take over now and do the Tesla thing. And then made it something it would have never been if they were there because they were too small-minded. So he's a big thinker, he's a big actor, a big executor. But I think people loved him because he was making them money for a long time. And now that he's not making them money, it's kind of like the emperor has no clothes type of situation. Like, who is this guy really? Is he really like as smart as we give him credit for? Is he going to make Twitter the Alipay type of all-in-one messaging app that he says? If he does that, I would be very impressed. If he's able to take Twitter from a social media platform to an all-encompassing lifestyle brand, which is what I think he wants to do. But I just feel like he's got to chill out and like get back to work a little bit.
I agree with, I don't know if it's 85, 90%, but like
that's a made up number.
There's people who view him differently.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. And even people who are positive and now maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But I think he knows what he's doing. I think that he's intentionally like, there's a line in the sand and it was like, stay Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And like Republicans and Democrats both buy sneakers. So like, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. And I got great shoes.
Yeah.
And he decided to like step over the line.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's why he's been talking about like, civilization depends on what we do. Like all these things that he's saying.
Yeah.
Forget for a second like why he's doing it.
Yeah.
But I definitely think like he at some point was like, I am going to step over the line. Yeah. Right. I am now going to enter myself into the culture wars, into the free speech debate, like all these things that like, I think most people are like, I may have opinions like offline.
Yeah.
But if I want to continue to like grow or do things or whatever, like they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. So they're just like, no one needs to hear my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter. Like, let the culture war people fight it out.
Yeah.
But because he stepped over the line, now like you're in it, man.
Yeah.
And you're the richest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And like the richest guy in the world who also owns Twitter, who also now is in the culture war. Like we've never seen this before.
No. Yeah.
And so like, I don't know what happens, but like he's
enticing.
in a new game.
So the reason I came out and said I think he's an idiot is not because I don't think he's a smart person. I think he's buying his own line of shit and he's kind of losing the plot a little bit. He needs, in my opinion, I'm fucking Tank Sinatra telling Elon Musk what to do. Why don't you sit down, buddy? But I've seen it. I've seen it enough times to know that, yes, you're absolutely right. It's probably not by accident. He has made a decision. I don't know if that decision is going to pay off for him because he has so many other things attached to it. If it was just Twitter, sure, turn it into a, I don't want to say right-wing platform because that's not what it is, but turn it into a platform where people can just say whatever they want. And there's no consequences. The market will decide if that's what they want. They'll decide if they want to keep coming to a platform where they get, attacked daily, no matter what your opinion is. Because whether you're far right, moderate left, centrist. I got yelled at for being a centrist once on the internet. I was like, "What? Why are you yelling at me? Because I think about
Take a stand, Tank."
No. I heard somebody say the other day that they were, what did he say? I don't want to mess it up. Fiscally liberal and socially conservative, which is the opposite of what most people say.
Does that even, I mean, I guess you could be.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, you could do it. Yeah.
Because yes, I believe that people, if they get their ass kicked, I think everyone is a socialist until they start making some money, and everyone's a capitalist until they need a hand, whether you're an individual or a corporation. So I don't think that a single mom who's struggling should starve on the street. And I'm fine paying for it. I'm fine paying for roads. I'm fine paying for even administrative people to make the roads happen. I understand that money is an important thing, but I also think that people who demand society change on a dime, on their whim, are annoying and should shut up. So I'm socially conservative. Shut up already. Shut up with your opinion. Your opinion is that. You're making it like it's a necessary change that needs to be made. That's just how you feel, dude. You don't know what feelings are?
The part with Elon specifically is I actually think he bought Twitter in large part because it was Tesla's marketing department. If you think about Tesla, he built the cult of Tesla, right? And there's some people who think that that's an amazing thing, and they'll go buy the stock because they're like, oh, the cult of Tesla will carry us to the promised land. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are like, holy shit, the cult will disband at some point, and the emperor has no clothes, and Tesla will fail, whatever. Truth's probably somewhere in between, right? Yeah, but whatever. And if you think about the fact that Tesla doesn't have any marketing budget, they spend no money on marketing. Well, it's because you got the founder or the CEO, whatever title you want to give him, whatever, 100+ million followers on Twitter, and he tweets something and it goes mega viral. It's the #1 tweet in the world. Yeah. Every single time he tweets. Yep. You probably don't need a marketing budget.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? Yeah. And then he says something, and then every media outlet in the world goes and writes articles about it. And it's it's just the marketing department. Yeah. And so now, does that mean it's worth $44 billion? No. Right? Yeah. Does that mean that he doesn't want to do all these other things with it or whatever?
That'd be worth more if that's really what it is. Because how much would you spend on marketing for almost, I don't know what the
to be the most
cap
valuable
is right
car company in the world?
But it was $1 trillion company at one point, right?
Yeah. So 5%, 4%,
44 billion, 5% of your marketing. It's an amazing return. So there's one thing that makes me think this guy is the smartest person that's ever lived, and I don't even know if it's true. He tweeted out on a certain date and a certain time that the stock was splitting. Somebody, have you ever heard this before? No. Somebody on Reddit took the numbers and did the math. What was it, a 4-for-1 split?
Something like that, yeah.
At whatever number it was, the time and the date of the tweet was the price, and the stock split was the date that it happened on, or something along those lines. He tweeted out at this time of this day that Tesla should be Tesla is too expensive. Tesla stock is too expensive. And the numbers were such that it was exactly the opposite in the number scheme. Does that make sense? So the time and date were the price, and the price was the time and the date. Just flipped. And I was like, that's amazing. He told people, essentially telegraphed 7 months before it split, that it's going to split. We're going to split it on this day at this split, 4-for-1. So that made me watch him even closer. I watch everything he does. I'm not immune to his influence.
I just think the memes, he'll post a photo. Yeah. Right? A meme is a fucking photo. Yeah. He'll post it. And there was 2 recently that I was just this guy's playing a game. It's not even chess. It's a game that other founders, chess. CEOs, all these other guys are like, what do you mean? Why is he doing that? He looks stupid. Yeah. One was, it was the Grave, the guy who's got the peace sign or whatever. And he wrote bots over the tombstone, and he put his face on the dude, down. Right. And he's dancing on the graves of the bots. And stupid. Could make it in 2 seconds. Yeah. Right. The message that it sent though was like Elon beat the bots.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, right? Like, I don't know, I tweet, there's a lot of fucking bots. But like, whether it's true or not, he was like pounding on the narrative, which then reverberates throughout Twitter, the media, like all of a sudden. And I was like, 4D chess, right?
Yeah.
Then the other one was, I forget what he wrote on the image, but he had the two bears, they're fucking each other in the background. And then he had like a guy with a camera who's like taking a picture in a different direction or whatever. And basically he was like making the point of like, all this other stuff's going on, but like you guys are like focused on the wrong things.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy, the richest man in the world, is literally like basically dunking on the media, society, like all these different things with a photo.
Yeah.
And he's doing it with such efficacy. Like I was like, maybe his friends are sending him memes. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe he is, because now that I'm listening to you talk, he's like, maybe I'm jealous a little bit. I swear to God, it did just occur to me right now. Like this guy is posting memes. Like the thing where I was like, if somebody makes me groan, I'm like, dude, you're over. When he walked in with the sync to Twitter, he's like, let that sink in. That's a bad joke, dude. You should be ashamed of yourself. Why would you do that? You think that's funny? Like,
it's funny when it's a nerdy dude who's the richest man in the world thinking he's funny.
Yes, I
right.
get
Like we all are. It's like the Zuck photo, right? Like we're all laughing because we're like, that is so ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
That is his strategy, just to say bad jokes. And he's like, these morons think that I'm bad at jokes, but actually they're all laughing.
That's really interesting. I don't
know.
Like,
there's no way Elon was like to somebody on his team, hey, go get a sync. And then was like, this is going to be hilarious. Like actually funny. It has to be, this is going to be so corny.
Yeah. That
it's like 3D chess. And the internet, like I'm doing it for the internet. I'm not doing it to like win a comedy, competition.
He's said he's doing it to be made fun of.
To a degree.
Yeah. I don't know. He's, again, we'll see how it plays out. He's obviously got something that people like. Like, I still like it. I just don't, like, I feel like some of the luster has left.
Yeah, I think that's right.
For him.
And also, there's, when it comes to these individuals, I think there's something about like
he was Iron Man, now he's Rain Man, is what I'm trying to say.
No, but there's like a less is more a little bit, I think, with some of these folks.
Yeah.
So like Bezos started tweeting like more political stuff recently.
Really?
And I asked a friend, he was like going after Biden about like inflation stuff and whatever. And not like, he's not shit posting, being super inflammatory, but he was like, basically like, hey, that's not how inflation actually works. And, more so than you would expect from people who run these large companies, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I think also just like making it known where they stand. And so I asked a friend of mine, I was like, why are they doing this? Like, why are we seeing this now? Right. And like, why are we seeing it at all? I always ask them, whenever I see anything on the internet, like why now and why this?
Yeah.
Right. And so with Bezos, I was like, this guy isn't like taking a shit tweeting. Like there's someone somewhere who's like,
this is a calculated
thumbs up, like send the tweet, right? At 11:02 p.m., whatever, right? And my friend was just like, no, dude, they feel the pendulum swinging. Like the pendulum swung like super left, then it goes super right, then it goes super left. And like just natural. Like, it's been doing this for literally hundreds and hundreds of years of like the political kind of back and forth. Yeah. Which actually kind of makes democracy great. Yeah. Right. Is that like no one party has the dominant perspective. Yeah. But they were like, these guys aren't idiots. Like they understand the pendulum is swinging. And as the pendulum swings, like they don't ever want to go far right or far left. They basically just want to be a little bit right of center when the pendulum's swinging that way. And they want to be a little bit left of center when the pendulum's, and I was like, man, that's actually like pretty intelligent way to look at, like if through that lens, like, okay, I'll buy, that's why they're tweeting some of this stuff. Yeah. Don't you think it's sad though, that we're starting to get to know these people on a level that we really shouldn't? And like, you don't think so? It kind of, I'm sitting here thinking about it. It reminds me of like when I went to Disney World when I was 9 and I saw the mechanics inside of Jaws' mouth. And I was like, this sucks. Magic is like dead now. And then the magic dies. Like Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, number 4, always say less than necessary. Like, you gotta maintain, maybe we're changing and this is part of like the discomfort of growing pains,
But like, I don't want to know that much about these people. I don't want to know like what SZA thinks of Joe Biden's inflation policy.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I want, like, I don't know, I'm going to say something crazy, but R. Kelly, I still like his music. You're not allowed to like his music.
Yeah, that is true.
I still listen to Trapped in the Closet 3 times a year, chapters 1 through 25. I make it a point. It's a rock opera, dude. It's unbelievable. I don't think of what he's done when I'm listening to the music. So,
but also I think that there's other examples like, I mean, different situation, but like similar mechanisms where I guess you can cut it one way where it's like you separate actions someone has done from things they have produced.
Sure, yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people who have built companies that we all use on a daily basis that if we like, we're like, the founder is this person and like, here's the worst thing they did. We'd be like, I can't believe you support that company or whatever, right? Somebody recently told me is like everyone was up in arms about Live Golf and the Saudi, and the Saudi stuff. Saudi's like one of the biggest shareholders of Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right. And so like nobody's out picketing Starbucks being like, you know, it's Saudi-backed Starbucks. Like that's not a thing. Right. So there's little, I mean, can you imagine?
Let me get a Saudi macchiato.
like, can you imagine that conversation? Right. So I think you have that cut, but also there's a cut of like, everyone has their like demons or whatever.
Yes.
And I think in the finance world, Michael Milken is probably the best example. The Milken Institute and the Milken conferences and all like are on a pedestal. This is like the epitome of financial conferences. And he's seen as this great philanthropist and all this shit. Like the dude broke the law, right? Or at least the courts decided he broke the law. He went to jail, like the whole thing. But I don't think people are showing up there being like, I'm supporting, you know, like this bad person.
Yeah, no, of course not.
And so I don't know. It's like a weird thing because there's also the society, what they want you to say, and then there's the like what actually everyone does.
Yeah. Here's what I hope happens as a result of all of this pain and nonsense and bullshit and all that. I hope that at some point everyone realizes that nobody's perfect, whether it's an individual or an entity, and judgment ceases. That would be the best result of this. Because I remember when the Me Too thing happened, everyone was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, why can't you believe it? Do you know people? Do you know any people? Have you ever met a person in your life? Why can't you believe that the Me Too thing happened? So they wash out the Hollywood industry. Then they're going to wash out music. Then they're going to wash out construction. Then they're going to wash out finance. And they're going to wash out fast food. Like the end result is going to be that everybody at some point or another has done the worst thing they've ever done. And if you want to hold people to those standards, nobody's going to be left. The world's going to be completely devoid of people because everyone has something bad that they've done.
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Sure.
So 2017 is Me Too movement, all that going on.
Yeah.
That's R. Kelly, like heat really
Harvey
started.
Weinstein.
Yeah, but specifically around R. Kelly, this coming from the guys over at Morning Brew. So that's really when they said that he started having decades of accusations that first got widespread attention during the peak of the Me Too movement in 2017. In response to that, over a number of years, Spotify scrubbed his music from its curated and algorithmically generated playlist. They stopped promoting his work in 2018. YouTube shut down 2 of his official accounts in 2021, but his songs were still available on YouTube Music. And then some artists voluntarily removed songs that were produced in collaboration with him from their various platforms, etc.
Yeah.
But in 2017, he averaged 5.4 million weekly streams, and in 2021, he averaged 6.4. So the streams were still going up, even though he was being removed from places, all this type of stuff. Now, there's the Streisand effect of controversy drives the popularity, but also after he was found guilty in September of, I guess, 2021, his audio streams jumped 22% compared to the previous week, which is like pure Streisand effect probably. Yeah. And album sales spiked 500%.
Wow.
So it's again, like, should they not? Like, leave the debate to the side for a second. Like, that's hard data on an individual that I haven't met someone who's like, I think that, what he did was good. Yeah. Right. I think everyone's like, okay, that is inappropriate. It's shouldn't be allowed in society, like all that kind of stuff. But then when you look at like the actions of folks, people were listening, they're buying the albums, they were like doing all this. It's like a very weird thing, right?
It's annoying for sure. I've come to learn that the more adamant somebody is that you must judge this person in this way, the more the shittier that person is, typically. Like, I don't tell anybody how to feel about anything. I don't care. If we feel the same, I feel like human relationships are built on discovery and excitement, meaning like, same thing with the song. Like, I find the song's better. I don't want to be set up with a friend. That's weird. Like, I met like the guy in the plane I met yesterday who happened to be a friend from a long time ago. Like, that was really exciting to me. I don't want to be told how to feel about anything, and I don't want to tell you how to feel about anything, because this is something that I think about pretty much every day now at this point. I stopped arguing with people about politics on the internet a long time ago. The main reason was that I decided, unless you're running for office, I do not give a shit how you feel about this topic. It's irrelevant. It's masturbatory. Don't want to talk about it. Definitely don't want to argue about it. But the main reason is that in order for me to tell somebody that they're wrong about something, like, you have to stop listening to R. Kelly. How do you know that R. Kelly isn't the one artist that created the one song that reminds this person of their dead mother, and it's the only way they can connect to them? You just don't know. Like, I'm not going to be so arrogant to say that I know better than you how you should have interpreted all of your life experiences and all your memories. I got it better than you. And I don't want to be told that I've interpreted my entire life wrong and all the experiences. I was raised by a father who's a Democrat, and Democrat is a lost word at this point. It doesn't even mean anything. But
they're all crazy, by the way. Like, just anyone in the political spectrum, I'm just like, okay, everyone's insane. Yeah,
there's normal people who identify as left, right, independent, whatever. And then there's people who make it their whole identity. Yeah. You're a sports fan to me. I don't want to talk about whether or not the Jets or the Giants are better, or left or right is. Yeah. You're not contributing anything positive to the conversation or your life, because so rarely will I hear somebody say something that I haven't heard before. It's like, yeah, I could watch Fox and get this opinion. I don't need to listen to you. We should talk about anything else besides what we're talking about. And then once you transcend that, then you really get to know people. Instead of getting their opinion on something, tell me a story about what happened, and then I'll assume your opinion on this topic from that story.
My favorite thing, I've through all the Bitcoin stuff, I've met a number of different politicians, right?
Yeah.
And like, what do you think about crypto and all stuff? And I always ask them, I'm like, hey, what's one thing you agree with the other side on?
Yeah.
And
great question.
You would be shocked. Some of them have great answers. Like, some of them are like, oh, actually, I see eye to eye with this. I put forward a bipartisan bill. Like, and they're politicians. They're polished and they're good to go.
Yeah.
Other ones, like, steam's coming out of their ears, literally, and you're just like, whoa, that was just like,
from to the other side.
Like, literally, you're just like, whoa, okay. Like, there was the button that I pushed that maybe I shouldn't have pushed, like, whatever. So it's just like a weird, very weird thing. One other thing I want to talk about is you mentioned no employees.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of businesses that now, I don't know if people are becoming more comfortable talking about it. I don't know if it's just possible because of the internet and technology or whatever, but these like one-person businesses are becoming way bigger, way more successful, way more common.
Yeah.
Why not have employees? Like, do you think there's a rise of this? Like, how do you just think of like this idea of like one person actually being behind a business, and you got like a contractor and stuff like that, but like, like, how do you think about that trend?
So I think that as we were saying before the podcast, like, figure it out. You're in America.
Yeah.
You got no excuses except for where you grew up, what your limiting, like, not limiting beliefs like some weird business guru, but like literally, what do you think you're capable of? What do you have access to? Aside from that, whatever arena you're in, play your ass off and you'll figure it out. So I have tried to hire people to help me post, to help me curate content for Tank's Good News and all that stuff. And I think there's a little bit of magic that goes into posting. There's discovery, there's inspiration, there's energy, and that's transferred to the audience. You pass that off to somebody else, unless they're gonna treat it the same way they would treat it as if it was their page, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that excitement and that transference of enthusiasm through the page. And I know that's like really, maybe sounds like an excuse, maybe sounds like I don't want to give up control. I've tried it multiple times. My page just doesn't do as well. Tank's Good News is the only one I've ever tried to outsource. It just doesn't do as well when somebody else is running it. The captions aren't right, the stories they pick aren't right, the timing's not right. And I don't mean timing like, I believe you post between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're good. I don't think that like 12:30 is better than 11:30. I just mean there's something about finding this content that gets me excited and people tune into that.
Yeah.
So I would love to have somebody who did that. But the other side of that is that if they're that good at Instagram, they're going to start their own page.
Yeah. Can you grow a page organically now, you think, without having the other accounts to tag you and stuff?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It really depends on what you choose to do. Like I wouldn't start another meme page for no reason. But influencers in the wild pinpointed something that was on the tip of everyone's tongue, but they couldn't collect it together in one neat package. Like my favorite example is the girls who runs Comments by Celebs. They saw something happening. Instagram changed the algorithm. All of a sudden, people would click in the comments. They'd see a comment from this celebrity, that one, all the way down the line. And everyone was enjoying it and appreciating it. Nobody had said, this is going to be an account. I'm going to make this an account. That was one of the most perfect executions of an exploitation of an algorithmic change I've ever seen in my life. They turned it into an Instagram page, a podcast. They're doing great. So you have to just be really in the world to see either A, what's happening, or B, even more difficult, what's happening next, or B-1, what's already happening that people haven't realized is happening that you can kind of capitalize on. That's how you have to do it, I think. Or full left field comment, you got to be someone like Elise Myers on TikTok.
Who's that?
She's like, I fucking love her so much, dude. Elise Myers, Alexandra Madison, and her husband, John. These are people who are, the thought of being someone else probably makes them sick. Elise Myers is just, you probably have seen her videos before. She is one of the most, if not the most authentic person I've ever seen on the internet. She's just fully 100% being herself. And people are eating it up. They love it. She tells a great story. She does a great job with the editing. She makes great use of stickers and comical placement and all that stuff of the stickers and the timing and her facial expressions. But more than anything, she's just being herself on the internet. If you can do that, that's scary though. That's the problem with being yourself on the internet, is that if you get rejected by the internet being yourself, you really feel the rejection. Whereas if you like put on some kind of persona and try and get traction that way, at least you can go, that wasn't really me anyway. That's why I think doing what I do is so uncomfortable, because I am being myself on the internet. I am saying things that I think are true and that I want not validation for, but I want what I'm saying and what I'm doing to find the right person. And when somebody comes along and says like, I don't agree with that, it's like, well, you don't agree with me then. Let's figure this out. But you can't do that with thousands of people a day.
Yeah.
So either find a loophole and exploit it, or throw caution to the wind and be yourself. That's the only way you can grow.
Who's the first advertiser you worked with?
The first advertiser I worked with?
Yeah, on the tank.
I think it was Dad Brands, which is a hat company. Which, quickly the pricing became like, this is not going to work anymore. Yeah. But the company that allowed me to leave my job at Defense Company was Bumble, which is a dating app. They gave me a year-long contract, X amount of money per month, was more month than I was making at Defense Company. It was $12,000 a month. $12,000 a month per year, or through a year. Yep, $144,000.
And how much did you have to post? Like one a week or something?
I think it was one a week, but it could either be on... I don't remember if I had started Tank's Good News at that time. I think it was one meme a week, which at that point I was like, this is fantastic. Yep. But then, because I wasn't doing Fence anymore, all of my, people don't give enough credit for how important mental energy is and how much time you spend thinking about, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to talk to this person, that person. Imagine if not thinking about that at all, you thought about what you really wanted to do, you would take off in 2 seconds. So once the having to think about Fence was gone, then that's where Tank's Good News was born from. Then I didn't make $144,000 that year. I made $550,000 or whatever it was.
And you were just selling like one-off advertisers, or you were getting them on like a monthly?
No, Bumble was monthly, and then like VaynerMedia hit me with one that like changed my life, because up till that point I was charging like $5,000-$10,000 a post. Maybe 5 was even like the max at that point. I'm trying to think, and they paid me $30,000 for 2 posts. And I was like, usually when people buy more than one, you give them a break. This was like times 2, times 3. I was like, holy shit, where is all this money coming from? People don't even, how do people have this much money to spend? But that's why dad brands, unfortunately, I stopped working with, because they're just like a normal bunch of guys selling merch on the internet. They're not Viacom or Comedy Central or CW or, Hinge or these companies that have almost unlimited budget to just say, like, I don't normally talk about what I get paid exactly, because A, I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but B, I don't want to like out the company. But one I'll always feel comfortable talking about is hemorrhoids. Preparation H asked me to do a meme for them. I got the email and I was like, nah, no way.
No?
Not doing it. There's no way. I'm not posting about itchy assholes on the internet. I don't know if they want me to do a video like, hey, my butthole itches so bad, I love Preparation H. Go buy it. Or like if I can make fun of it. So after I gave them the number, I said 100,000 is what I want for this post.
100,000 for one post?
For one post, yeah.
Talk about itchy assholes.
Talk about itchy buttholes, yeah. So they wound up, it was negotiated down to 80, but for one post that I posted on Valentine's Day where I got to make fun of their product, I can't work with a brand now unless they're going to let me make fun of them. It doesn't work otherwise. We can't say, hey, Cottonelle's great toilet paper. It doesn't clog up your toilets. You should buy it. It's got to be a joke about the fact that you guys ran out of toilet paper during the pandemic. Cottonelle was a brand that I did a campaign with right as soon as the pandemic hit, maybe like 3 months after. And I was like, if I can't talk about the fact that you guys left everyone with no toilet paper, we can't do it, because it's not worth it to me on the back end that people are going to be annoying about it. I have to face the problem head on. Like I did a campaign with Bloomberg when he was running for president.
I was going to ask you, did you secure the bag from the billionaire? Yeah,
it was, I don't support him. I don't endorse him. If anything, like Adam Adam Padilla, the guy, podcast, whatever, and I created the board game with him. He goes, if anything, he endorsed us. This presidential campaign asked meme accounts to post about him running for president. That's a win for us. I don't care who it is. I don't care what politician it is. That validated the form.
A billionaire, not just like Joe Blow, crazy person down the streets. Like I could be president one day. Like literally a guy who, whatever your politics are, like he at least had a shot.
Yeah,
right. He's gonna spend $2 billion or whatever to try.
He had a shot. I feel like this is what happened. So we all posted memes that were DMs from him asking us to make him look cool, basically, which is like, okay, we're essentially making fun of him. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
That campaign got so much press, it was astronomical, but it wasn't great press. And I don't believe all press is good press. I think sometimes if you're trying to do something, the press is not great. So we were supposed to do another round of memes for him. And I said, if I can't address what's happening, it was trying to get people to tune in for the debate. And it was just going to be another round of the same shit. I was like, he's got to ask us to post another meme in the DM. This is all fabricated, by the way. He's not DMing us. But it's got to be, hey, Tank, great job on that meme. I wanted to do another one. And then I'd have to say, yeah, I don't know, dude. People are saying you're trying to buy the election. And then his response would be, that's unfortunate to hear. Tune into the debate tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Or, hey, we want to do another meme. Can't do it. Got too much heat. People, the stop and frisk, people were pissed off about it. Totally understandable. I'm going to talk about that during the debate tomorrow. And like I said, if I can't do that, I don't want to do the campaign because it wasn't worth it to me. To people are sometimes still mad about the fact that I did a post for Bloomberg 3 years ago. It's like, dude, get over it. You're sad. Mm-hmm. But it was a very interesting campaign because it mixed a legitimate advertising vehicle, or it mixed a legitimate advertising opportunity with a underground advertising vehicle. People still don't realize how powerful memes are for getting the message out and how the response can be so much more than you could ever imagine just off of the one post. Let's forget about the earned media that campaign got. That was in the, who knows, tens of millions of dollars worth. Everybody was talking about it.
Robert Greene wrote a book with 50 Cent.
Yeah,
if you know
50th Power,
50th Law. Yeah. And he talks about the mixtape strategy.
Yep.
And a lot of what goes on the internet now, and I think like the memes and stuff is very similar.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, a lot of like, specifically in New York City, but I think a lot of rappers back in like the early 2000s or so, they were like, well, how do I get people to learn about my music? And so they would press the CDs and they'd go out and they just give them away basically. And just like, if you got hot in the streets, then you had a shot to actually build a business and do all this. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. Right. Like Bloomberg was kind of that was the mixtape strategy for a presidential campaign was to basically like go to the memes. Now it cost a lot of money. Yeah. Right. But they were able to.
Didn't cost them near. So that's a great analogy because to do a mixtape or to make an album, you have to pay a producer to make the music for you. All 50 Cent did was take beats that already existed, that were already proven to be hot on the streets or in the charts or whatever, and rap over them. So Bloomberg saw that he didn't have to pay for a commercial to be produced. It was just like everything was already there. It was all in one neat package for him. It's very interesting. 50 Cent nobody was hotter than him in the streets. I mean.
Have you seen the clip? I forget who it is, but somebody, maybe they were at Def Jam. I can't remember. But it recently went viral where he's like, Jay-Z came in one day and he goes, oh yeah, all of you on the microphones now. This dude 50's coming. And if you don't get in front of it, like it's over. And they said 50 dropped the album and it was like, everyone shut up, don't drop anything for 4 months.
Which is insane to think about because I remember there's a song called Back Down on his first album that was used as the intro, outro kind of background music for a small DVD that was given out with another purchase before his album came out. Okay. So it was like 50 Cent in his neighborhood talking to people. Have you heard of this guy? Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, doom, 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 doom. It was a creepy but hard beat. And I remember I was in the mall and I heard the music coming from like 200 feet away. And I went like that. And this guy who was at a kiosk playing the music looked at me like this, and he was like,
dude, I remember going and buying music and like, I don't know, when like, I think Lil Wayne Carter 2, first time I skipped school. It's like
to get an album?
Oh yeah, album dropped. Like we had to go fucking, let's go. I'm a little bit younger than you. And so I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. And we like went, skipped school, got the album. And I'll never forget, like, guess what we did once we had the album? We drove back to the parking lot and sat in the parking lot like idiots. Right? and like word spreads real quick, like, yo, they got the album. They're out in the parking lot, like whatever, right? And kids are like coming out there and eventually the school's like, what the fuck are you two doing sitting, you know?
Idiots.
Like why not go down the street? I don't know, right? But you'd go to the store and you would try to like trick your parents into buying the advisory with the advisory label. Yeah. Right? Because they literally would have like a censored version and a not censored version. Yeah. And like today, that sounds so ridiculous.
I know.
Right? But like there was debates nationally. Like, should we allow these people to sell music with curse words in them? Yeah. And now if you turn on like the radio, I got a daughter now. Yeah. I turned on the radio the other day. Megan Thee Stallion I was like, whoa, I never listened to the words of this before.
Yeah, you're listening now.
Let's go to the Christmas music. Yeah. Right? But like, you just like, for some reason, I don't know, society changed or whatever, but like the things that used to be kind of edgy, like aren't. And I think 50 Cent even, like, there was shit that he was saying, you know, when he first came
he got
up.
shot 9 times. That's why he got famous.
Yeah. Columbia Records dropped
this whole thing. He had an album out before that I love that did nothing for him. It wasn't until he got shot and survived and people were like, there's this other guy, Casanova, who's a rapper, and he's literally just famous because he helped other rappers that were in prison while he was in prison. That's it. That's his whole thing. There's a certain amount of, still in that industry, certain amount of just mystique that goes sometimes even further than what you're saying. Like still to this day, Jay-Z still also has that mystique. And people will say—
Why do you think he has it?
Because he's a real one. Like he's not fucking around. When I interned at Def Jam, you hear stories of like him stabbing Lance Rivera over leaking a bootleg, or, lost 92 bricks.
Rewind that again, because
Yeah.
I don't think people actually know the story. You said he stabbed him.
Yeah, in a club. At the Kit Kat Club, he stabbed Lance Rivera because he leaked one of his albums. I believe it was Volume 3. But it was, so to put that in perspective, Volume 1 was already out. Obviously. I'm sorry, Reasonable Doubt was already out. Volume 1 was already out. Volume 2 was already out. This Jay-Z guy was not like a nobody. He was a massive star. This is after Big Pimpin'. I'm trying to figure out the timeline exactly. I don't want to misspeak. But anyway, he stabbed Lance Rivera over leaking a version of his album so that bootleggers got it.
Normal thing to do.
Totally normal thing to do. But Jay-Z is like he's really like that. You know what I mean? I was at the Def Jam Christmas party, and something was going on. Jay-Z's friend Tata was there, and some guy was like kind of being annoying to Tata, but like not annoying like, hey man, I want to talk to you. He was like being a dick to him.
Like talking shit, yeah.
And Jay-Z just got up and stared the guy down and told him to get the fuck out of the party. Jay-Z, who was the president of Def Jam at that time, can still turn that part on of himself. So the point is that you can't do that if that's not really who you are. Jay-Z has a line on the Black Album where I'm on the spot, so I might not be able to think of it. Oh yeah, no matter where you go, you are what you are, player. Like that song saved me from a relapse when I went on vacation in 2003 or whatever it was. But he knows a tiger can't change its stripes. And I think people sense that. Like I said, Rihanna, she was just a star, dude. She was just— Brad Pitt, I've heard the same thing. I've never seen Brad Pitt in real life. From what I hear, Brad Pitt walks into a room, and it's not just because he's Brad Pitt, because believe it or not everyone knows who Brad Pitt is still at this point. He's just got that you should know who I am kind of vibe to him.
Jay-Z's got probably— I think a lot of people, they have the nostalgia for some of his early work, but also now I think there's like a whole other group of people who are like discovering him and all this, especially younger kids. But he's got a whole verse on God Did with DJ Khaled.
Dude.
And
Don't even get me started, Pomp.
And he just kills it, right? And there's a couple of things he says in there, which I think alludes to this. Like there's one line where he's like, we're just corner boys to the corner office. Yeah. Right? And he's basically like explaining like, you guys don't understand, kind of where I've come from. But then he also talks about, the fact that he's like, he says something to the effect of like, we're taking our weed public now, or like we're selling the weed in stores.
Yeah.
Like who would have ever thought? Right?
Yeah.
That we would have literally gone from them trying to catch us on the streets and put us in jail for selling drugs to now some of those drugs are illegal and like celebrated. We can take a company public doing it.
And making us rich. Not drug dealer rich. Like he's
like rich.
Like Forbes list rich.
Yeah. Have you seen Can't Stop, Won't Stop, the Diddy documentary?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch.
I'll check it out.
So there's two parts to it that just resonated with me. The first is he gets I'll call it an internship, or like, he's kind of early in his career. And I forget the name of the music label he's at, but the owner is basically, hey, you're going to work.
Arista.
I think so. So he's like, you're going to work with me. And he says he knew that Diddy was different because he's like, all right, man, there's this package. Take it to this address and come back when you're done, and I'll tell you what to do next. And he says he hands him the package. Diddy walks out the door. He gets on the phone. And before he gets off the phone, he's like, it's a 20-minute call.
Yeah.
Diddy comes running back in the office. He's sweating his ass off.
Yeah.
And he's in the suit tie, the whole thing. And he's like, bro, what the fuck happened? He's like, I ran there. I gave it to him. I ran back. What's next?
Yeah.
And he's like, holy shit. He's like, bro, I thought you were going to go get lunch. Like, like whatever. He's just like, the dude was just on, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is the way that he got asked to leave is because some guy in the office was talking shit to him, and he took his shirt off and he punched him in the fucking face in the office.
Yeah.
Right? And
it is from Harlem, dude.
Like, it's just, again, not condoning it, not saying that today that's what would happen in an office environment or whatever.
It could.
Of
it
course.
would make waves. It would make noise for sure, just the same way it did back then.
But like you hear these stories and you're just like, again, how does somebody go from I'm not successful, I don't have notoriety, in music, all stuff,
to
having it like there's an overlap between like the guy who's willing to take his shirt off and literally punch the coworker in the face to like the guy who's selling out arenas.
Well, there's also an overlap. The Venn diagram is a complete circle of people who would take their shirt off and punch a coworker and people who will run to deliver a package in the summer in a suit.
Absolutely.
You got to be a little bit off. Basically, life presents you with pain, and it's whatever you do with it that determines who you are. And I think when you grow up in that kind of environment, like Tata famously said in a documentary, like Jay-Z, let me back up. Jay-Z said, "I'll never enjoy my success, but my family will." He said that a long time ago on a song that was not on an album. I forget the name of it, maybe like Shooting Star or something. But I always thought, man, that's so sad that like because of the way he grew up, he'll never fully enjoy his success. But because of the way his kids grew up, they may never fully enjoy it either because they're growing up in the lap of luxury. They don't know what it is to struggle. But when you come from that kind of environment, Jay-Z from Marcy Projects, Diddy from Harlem, there's like, you don't really forget what it's like to feel like that. And you never want to feel like that ever again. So whether you have 10 million albums sold, 20 million, 500,000, 20,000, it's all, everything over 0 is a win. It's just to what degree, to what extent.
Talk to me about the board game. Because I think what's interesting about what you guys are doing now is you've got the accounts, you're all advertising revenue, but now once you start to break out, it's like you're actually able to take this like relationship you have with the audience and the feeling that you give them and all this stuff and actually build products. Like how does this happen? Yeah.
So Influencers in the Wild, the game, was my attempt to give people a fun experience that doesn't, let me start over. Influencers in the Wild, the game, was my attempt to give people a fun experience that doesn't mean they're looking at their phone, isolating themselves from family members, but you still get all the fun, I guess, the hit of adrenaline or humor when something funny happens on the internet. So I was on the phone with Adam, the creator, one day, and we were like, how do we branch off of Instagram? Like, what can we do that we can own and make our own and try and blow it up? And he's like, I don't know, maybe a game of some sort. And I was like, no, dude, a game is stupid. It's not, what are we gonna do? What do you meme or Cards Against Humanity? Like, I don't feel like putting that much effort into something that I'm not really into. So then he's like, yeah, I don't know. And then, bro, I mean, lightning strike. I was sitting on my couch in my house looking out the window, and I'll never forget. I was like, oh my God, dude. He's like, what? I didn't even want to tell him because I wanted to like keep that excitement for like an extra 3 seconds. I was like, bro, what if we made a game where instead of like, life events happening, like the Game of Life, influencers, quote unquote, travel around the globe on a board and rack up followers instead of money. And he's like, oh my God, dude. It was the most exciting conversation I've ever had in my life. But then we got to work. Then it was like, well, how do we indicate that it's an influencer? Well, all right, we're going to 3D print. We're going to 3D render and get printed these influencer playing pieces. One of the girls is in a yoga pose. Another guy is lifting weights. He's a fitness influencer. You have the dog with sunglasses who probably makes more money than you and I both combined.
Of course.
Like all these influencer
stereotypes
are the playing pieces. The board is, you go to Bali, you go to Tulum, you go to Coachella, you go to the
I could have guessed them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because
Griffith Park, and then you end up at the pink wall. That's the goal, to get to the pink wall first, because you get a reward if you get there first. Then we were like, all right, how do we make that fun? Because that's not enough. It's not enough to just do that. So we were like, all right, let's Adam design this board that is MC Escher level fascinating. Like you just keep looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And every time you look, there's another layer of joke to it. He's unbelievable. He helped me write the cards too. So I wrote the cards. Let's say I wrote the cards, he designed the board, but I helped design the board and he helped write the cards. Like we couldn't have done it without each other. So you roll the die, you go around the board, you land on no Wi-Fi, you lose a turn. Land on low battery, you lose a turn. You land on Bali, gain 100,000 followers. You land on Fire Festival, you lose 100,000, you go back to the middle of the board. Then there's the blue spots, and that's where all of the fun is. That's where the whole game resides, is in these blue spots. So if you land on a blue spot, you pick a random playing card, and it's a reward, challenge, penalty, or question. The rewards are like, your song goes viral on TikTok and boosts your streams, gain 50,000 followers, or The Rock reposts your meme, which happened in my life. Like some of the stuff happened, some of it didn't. So those are good. The challenges are, you'll like this one. Give me your best hustle and grind speech for 30 seconds and post it with the hashtag influencer game. So we're going to try and create some Gary Vaynerchuks out of it. Do your best Kylie Jenner impression, fish face, duck lip, whatever. But the promotion is built into the game that way because they have to post it with the hashtag influencer game to get the followers. Because we know people are somewhat uncomfortable doing that, there's no penalty if you don't do it. You just don't get the reward. The questions are, has the person to your right ever had oat milk? Who is willing to go into debt at the table to go to Coachella? Like funny stuff like that. And then the penalties are, unfortunately, you lose followers, but it's the best part. There's penalties like your dad finds your OnlyFans, lose 50,000 followers. Or your pyrotechnic gender reveal causes massive California wildfires, lose 100,000 followers.
It happens probably.
It happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Literally not surprised.
So that's it. It's all like internet humor, joke. Like if you have a love-hate relationship with influencer culture and the internet in general, you're going to love the game. I can't imagine people not liking the game. I did see one review from a person who was like, this game was too simple. There was no strategy. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what did you expect?
Risk.
Dungeons and Dragons, dude? Like, what did you think you were getting into? It's called Influencers in the Wild, the game. No talent required. You know what I mean? What do you think this is going to be? It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. And where do you sell them now?
So they're in Target.
Yep.
They're on Target.com. And then they're on influencersinthewildgame.com.
All right.
And we have an exclusive with Target that ends December 31st. So we'll be everywhere after that.
Got it. And do you think that from a business perspective, you'll like continue to create more games and like go more into physical products? Like what's the
I mean, obviously this game has to be a huge success first, but then from there, I think there's a market for making a New York-centric version of the board. There's a market for making an LA-centric version of the board, a European version of the board, and then expansion packs based on stuff that happens every year that's new, interesting, fun, exciting. Some of the references are old, but we knew that going in, like, you know, the girl who went viral, like, you know, you go viral on the Dr. Phil show for saying, "Catch me outside," gain 50,000 followers. That's an old reference, but it's timeless. So we tried to like really pick the ones that, yes, they're dated, but like, you know exactly who we're talking about. So as time goes on, we can make it refreshed and, you know, make it more timely.
Got it. When you think of the game, is it for like families to play?
Yeah, I mean, it's
like almost like a drinking game to some degree, or you can play with your family as well.
Yeah, it's we put 17 plus on it because one of the challenges is take a funny twerking video and post it to social media with hashtag influencer game. So we didn't want like an 8-year-old kid to do that, obviously, or a 12-year-old or whatever. So because of that, the 17 plus is on there, but like 1.5% of the cards are like even gray area questionable.
Yep.
I just didn't want to open us up to that. And I don't really think it's like, we played it with my son, the prototype version of it. And he goes, I pull the card, he pulls the card and goes, "You lost 50,000 followers because your dad found your OnlyFans? What's an OnlyFans?" And I was like, "Give me that card. I'm gonna put that away. We don't need to explain this to this young man what this is." But I think there's a
check
version,
your credit card next week, right?
Yeah. But I think there's a version of that game being played that's funny when the age goes in the opposite direction and you have to explain to your aunt who's 72 what an OnlyFans is. Like, I think that's funny. I might be wrong. Explaining it to a kid is not funny. So it's families-ish, but like at your own discretion. PG-13 at least, for sure.
Got it. All right. I have 2 questions, and then I'll let you get out of here. What's the best meme in history?
Oh, man.
You're in the Hall of Fame of memes as a maker. What is the #1 best meme in history?
My personal favorite or all things considered?
Both.
I mean, the best meme person in history is Hide the Pain Harold. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, this poor guy. He's a Norwegian. Yeah, Google him.
What is it?
You'll definitely know who he is when you see it. Hide the Pain Harold is his name. He is a stock
Got
photo
it.
model
Yes.
that just people saw.
I didn't know
something-
that he was a stock photo model.
Oh yeah, he's a stock photo model. He's not a meme guy. He's not a normal person. Like he's.
For those that are watching, he's the guy who holds the coffee cup.
Well, there's that, and then there's like 15. There's pictures
other
of him
ones.
exercising.
Yeah.
He's a prolific stock photo model, but he also at first hated the fact that he was a meme. He was embarrassed. It infuriated him. Why are these people making fun of me? And then he got in on the joke. So for all those reasons, because of his recognizability and his, the amount of content that he's in, and his personal story with memes, that would be number one.
All right. What's your favorite?
My personal favorite is a meme that when you explain memes, they're not funny, but I have to explain it because it's, otherwise you won't know what it is. There's a wrestler, Sheamus, you know who that is?
Yeah.
In WWE?
Yeah.
Red hair, super pale.
Great description.
So relevant description. So there's an image of him with his hands up in the ring. And on the top, it says, they said I wouldn't make it. They said I didn't have the look, right? And then there's another paragraph that is typed over his pale body, but it's white letters so you can't see it. And it's like him ranting about how he was never going to be told no, whatever. But you can't read it because he's so pale. And like, that is one of
he created it.
No.
Okay.
It's just like they said I'd never make it. They said I didn't have the look. Well, here's how much I don't have the look. You can't even read the words on my pale ass body.
Incredible.
I've seen that. I mean, I laugh every time I think of that. It's just so stupid, though. So I couldn't put that in a Hall of Fame because the other reason I like it is because 50% of people go, I can't read it. And the other 50% go, oh, that's the funny part. Like,
Yes.
you can't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think the meme, like the beauty of the meme is in the eye of the beholder.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
It's
And-
humor.
Yeah. And when you have to describe it, they explain it to people.
Yeah.
It ends up being pretty good. My favorite videos right now, I don't know why I just saw this. Have you seen the Grinch videos on Instagram?
Yeah.
I saw one last night. The Grinch shows up to the family's house.
Yeah.
And at first, there's like two kids, probably like 6, 7 years old. Like, oh shit! And they jump up on the couch.
Yeah.
And then the Grinch starts going near the gifts, and they jump off the couch and start punching them.
Really?
And,
Yeah.
and they're like, and then they're like little 6-year-olds. And the Grinch is like probably like a neighbor, or, whatever.
Yeah.
And he like literally like kind of like pushes one away. Like
Oh my
he's
God.
like, I didn't sign to get beat up by these 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're screaming at him, and he gets like one of the gifts, puts him in his little bag, and he's like gonna leave. And they're like following him, and they're trying to punch him and everything. And I sent it to a friend, and I was just like, I hope my kids grow up to be little savages like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like there ends up being these trends because I'd seen one, then I saw another or whatever. And like now you realize like, okay, like people are gonna do this.
Yep.
And to me, that's the magic of the internet. Is
Yeah.
like you couldn't script the kids are gonna actually get mad and like attack the Grinch, and like it's like chaos in the video, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing. And I tell friends all the time, like, I just love the internet. The internet is
Unbelievable.
the single greatest place in all of existence.
Yeah.
Because of the ability to entertain. It's not even just laugh. It's just
Yeah.
like just to entertain you.
Yeah.
And there's downsides to it, but like I just love the internet.
Yeah, there's downsides to everything. There's downsides to restaurants and mechanics and movies and everything. Like there's this expectation that the internet and social media especially has to be perfect or not hurt anybody's feelings or never piss you off. I feel like it's almost done. I feel like people are getting to that point where they're like, all right, I guess as long as I'm dealing with people, there's a potential for being annoyed. You make peace with that, then you can have fun.
Yeah.
But don't expect people to do what you want them to do or feel how you want them to feel or say what you want them to say. Just live your life and gravitate towards people who you like and steer clear of people you don't like. It's just like fucking life. It's not that hard.
Shocking concept.
I know. It's not that difficult.
All right. Where can we send people to find the game?
Target. Go to Target. Target stores. Target.com. Influencersinthewildgame.com.
Influencersinthewildgame.com.
Influencersinthewildgame.com. If you type in Influencers in the Wild, it'll pop up on
right.
Google. But Tank Sinatra, Tank's Good News. Influencers in the Wild, Meme Daddies podcast. If you like memes and you like dads, and if you're a fan of this podcast, just reset. your expectations.
How on a scale of 1 to really dumb,
Yeah.
and on a scale of 1 to really funny, where are you guys? Like really dumb and really funny?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Adam sets me up for, and I set him up like unintentionally. He's just one of the funniest, smartest, my favorite people in the world. He's just fucking a genius. And when you talk to people like that, they make you, step your game up and become funnier and smarter and try and outdo each other. But he's made me, we've both made each other like
Better.
Laugh hard multiple times every podcast episode.
Meme daddy.
That's all I care about. Meme daddies.
Daddies.
Yeah.
Not one.
No, because it's two of us.
You're good at math. All right. We'll definitely do it again in the future. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.